Son of a bitch. God damn it. There we go. Let's see. There we go. Maybe. I think we're working. Hey, fixed it. Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you. It feels like I just talked to you a few hours ago. Are you wearing the cloak of invisibility? The host will be here. Lay off. She's on her way. She put together a very delightful outline this morning. It's a fucking weird day. Good morning, San Diego. Did you guys getting flooding in San Diego? Did that storm flood you again? That second one? I did not get my account back. I changed the name of this account. This used to be called RTP Talks 2, but I don't think I'm ever getting my account back. And so I changed this to RTP Media News. RTP Talks 2 it just seemed a little backup-y to me, so I didn't want this to be the backup anymore. It's the real deal. So make sure you're following this account. And if you want, share it with your friends. It took a long time to build up. I think we were close to 30,000 on the other account, and it took a while to build up, and we'll have to redo it here on the backup account, but we can do it. I have this sneaking suspicion we can do it. Good morning, it's me, the co-host, or backup host, whatever you want to call it. San Diego getting a new storm this week. Oh, are we going to get rain again this week? I haven't even looked. Where does Laura Loomer live? I hope she gets a storm. I've been reading Laura Loomer's Twitter this morning, and it's just not a good way to start your week. Good morning to mods. If you guys saw, this is my new sweatshirt. I'm going to do something different with the lettering. Canva allowed me to do this. This says poisoning the blood. And this is a Canadian goose. And if you know anything about my history with Canadian geese, not a fan. My account my main account isn't banned. My live access is banned. I can't go live either as a guest or as a host. Speaking of hosts, the hostess with the mostest. Good morning.
Good morning.
Want to do some energy stuff? Let's start screaming. Get it really worked up.
I did it right.
My dad used to do this thing, like if you put out your hands like this, and he'd be like, give me your hands, and we'd be like, no. And eventually he would take them and he'd hold on to both hands. This was in the morning, and he would swing them back and forth, and he would say, if you act enthusiastic, then you'll be enthusiastic. And that's how he'd try and wake us up and drive me nuts.
Oh my God.
Yeah, wouldn't that drive you nuts if that happened to you?
Yes, I would. That's not even cool. That's not okay. It's making me hostile listening to you do it. Did you see me? I'm like, no.
Yeah. You already hate my dad. It's going to rain this week again. Did you know that?
Yes, I did. Like, I don't know what happened in your section of this city, but you guys have harsher weather usually. Like, they said a storm was coming last week. It didn't really it did the usual, like, rain for 20 minutes and then stop, but it wasn't that bad here. I think this storm looks worse, or whatever's forecasted anyways. Seems worse.
All my roads were flooded everywhere. This looks like...
Well, that's the problem with Phoenix, right? Is it's a desert and it wasn't built for drainage. And like if we turn into San Diego, people are going to be dying here.
Oh, it's over.
Because this city is not made for like extreme rain. Like same with like that underpass. Like I was telling you, I'm always under whatever. Whatever. Anyways, like it floods though, and it's like where then all those people are like displaced. Yeah, because it's not built for drainage. They're like they have a construction project to make that area drain.
Look, it's maybe not a well-known fact, but Phoenix can't take more than 6 inches. We're more of a 3 to 5 inch town. That's what we are here in Phoenix. Isn't that right, Felice?
In my experience, yes.
It's mostly a 3 to 5 inch town in Felice's experience, which is plenty, I've been told. That's what they say. They say it's plenty.
Well, first of all, guys, we're doing CoinCot, so obviously no gifting today. If you would like to donate to us, please take your choice, take your pick, and donate to us through one of these, and we will split it.
We also have in my link tree, I have tip jar through PayPal. I just didn't want to put my PayPal up there because it has my personal email address. I haven't created a new PayPal, but there is tip jar in the link, which is some sort of function of PayPal. I don't really understand it, but it's for some reason.
Well, that's like Venmo is owned. PayPal. Venmo is owned by PayPal. I mean, if you really want to get into it.
Well, if you really want to get into it, after talking to Eric, PayPal is probably owned by the Masons.
Oh God! Did you talk to Eric last night?
No. We only had two crazy people. We had, I don't remember who they were, and then Boston Brian. I need to talk to you about this. No, I need to talk to you about this. Boston Brian and the whole Discord and Jen, like they all just gaslit me all last night. They all picked on me. Nobody was defending me.
This is always your story. It's either everyone else or it's you.
It's everyone else. It was horrendous. I was singing.
That's very Donald Trump of you.
Yeah, I was singing a song that I really enjoyed, and they all told me it wasn't a real song. And then somebody, who was it? I got to give them credit. Somebody in the Discord. Let me find it. It was Nocturnal Days. Found the real song. Everybody just told me it wasn't a real song. Boston Brian's like, I'm from Boston. It's not a real song. It is a real song. It's the spirit of Massachusetts. So, anyways.
The spirit of Massachusetts? What does that even mean?
Well, the spirit of Massachusetts.
What would the spirit of Arizona be?
No, it's the spirit of America. The spirit of what's old and what's new. The spirit of Massachusetts. It's the spirit of America. It's the spirit of the red, white, and blue.
Oh my God.
Do we have what's our state song? Any idea?
Well, every state has one. They're just like so obscure. But yeah, like just as someone who used to teach like younger age curriculum, yeah, like at some point it's supposed to be covered. Like there's like an Arizona history requirement where you like learn did you learn like, oh wait, you didn't grow up here, but like you learn the 5 C's, which I don't even think this is true anymore. The 5 C's of Arizona are like our 5 industries, which are copper, cotton, citrus, climate. I don't know.
Climate.
Well, it's tourism.
It's warm?
No, tourism. Yeah. What do you mean? Yeah, Arizona makes most of its money by the influx of people during the winter. Yeah.
Yeah, I did not.
Tourism, golf. It's like one of our biggest industries.
Anyways.
Yeah.
I just checked Arizona State song "Hot in Here" by Nelly. That's interesting. Not know that.
Hot in here. What?
When I was in grade school, I think I've told you this before, but I remember jingles. That's why I can remember the spirit of Massachusetts. Like my brain works in jingles. I think like most of what's happening in my brain. I think everyone sees.
That's why advertising is structured that way.
And we had the I don't know if it was bicentennial. What year was it? I can't remember what year Utah was.
My brain works in jingles. That's a funny way. It just sounds funny. I don't know.
But we had they wrote this song. I think for the centennial or bicentennial. I can't remember. I don't know how old Utah is. I don't even remember. It might not even be one of those. But we had to learn this song, and everybody in the state learned this song, and they sang it to the governor, so we all had to send videos of this song. I can still sing every word of that song. Very
fascist sounding. That's like sending the Pledge of Allegiance every day to make sure you're doing.
Yeah, it was
like
good,
at my Christian school, we had to pledge allegiance to the American flag, the Christian flag, and the Bible. Those are like 3 separate pledges.
Wait, you may have missed a story.
What?
I have a great story for you.
What happened?
I think in Nemo's live and Jake, Eric graced their presence, and he did one. You remember that? Remember what he was like? I have 3 terabytes of videos, and we were like, "What? Why?"
No, he said 2. In fairness, 2. I said 3.
That's right.
He said 2. Well, that's a proof of how much you care about politics. How many videos you can fit on your phone. That's what we learned.
What he did that night is he tried another one of those flexes where he was like. Americans don't even know the Pledge of Allegiance. And then Jen asked him, do you know the Pledge of Allegiance? He's like, yeah. And they made him, and he couldn't do it. So he went 0 for 1. And then they brought it back up again in the live. So Eric went 0 for 2 on reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. So I don't know if you guys have been in contact. You may want to, maybe you guys could work on that together.
I think any sort of Pledge of Allegiance, like, is this free speech? I think it's weird. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like having to it's super weird.
It's weird to pledge allegiance to a flag. That's weird. Why?
Yeah,
why did we do that? Whose idea was that?
That's indoctrination. Anytime you are trying, you're made to like repetitively repeat something like ad nauseum, by force, day after day. I mean, that's literally the definition of indoctrination. Like, it's, yeah.
Is that how you feel every day when you are obligated to say you're happy to be here?
Well, I didn't. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I feel. I didn't feel. Listen, have you ever heard the pledge to the Christian flag?
No. There's a Christian flag? I don't even remember.
Yes.
Stop it. What
yeah,
is the
you
Christian
didn't know
flag?
that? Well, in Christian school, we had to do it every day. We pledge allegiance to the American flag, the Christian flag, and the Bible every single day. There's separate pledges for them. I pledge allegiance, like, it's to the Christian flag and to the Savior for whose kingdom it stands. Like, it's like, no. I don't know. Yes.
All right, pledge.
This is real. Savior crucified, risen, flag. And coming again. Yeah, it's like something like that. I don't remember. And then it's like, I pledge allegiance to the Bible, God's holy word.
Here it is.
Make
I pledge
it a
allegiance.
lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path.
I pledge allegiance to the Christian flag and to the Savior for whose kingdom it stands. One brotherhood, uniting all Christians in service and love. I pledge allegiance to the Bible, God's holy word, a lamp unto my feet. You don't use a lamp unto
I will
your
make
feet?
it a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. I will hide its words in my heart that I might not sin against God. Now imagine, why do I remember that so many decades later? Like, why is that something that I still could do? Because I was indoctrinated.
No, Jesus is in your heart.
I just did that from memory. I have not said that. I could not make my class do that. I've taught at public school and private school. I taught at a pretty rich private school, and I refused to make my class do that. I mean, it's not like anyone was checking if I was doing it, so I just didn't.
I just want to know what a lamp unto my feet means.
Yeah, the Bible. That's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. That's a quote from the Bible.
What does that mean?
A lamp unto it lights your path. That's the point.
Oh, it's a Psalms. Oh, it's from Psalms. That doesn't count.
I told you it's a quote from the Bible.
But Psalms doesn't count. Psalms is nonsense.
Well, I think Psalms is one of the only acceptable books of the Bible. Like, at least it's not like horrifically negative and like mass unalivings. And
Psalms was just somebody like writing poems about Jesus.
It's just that's what I'm trying to say. It's just like if you were writing songs, literally. That's what he was doing.
It doesn't make sense. A lamp unto my feet just doesn't make sense. I don't understand that. I don't think they understood how to. Maybe they like hopped on one foot and held the lamp with their foot. That doesn't make any sense. You don't want the lamp on your foot. You want the lamp elevated.
It's always about the same. I think. Yeah. I mean, that's the part you're focusing on of all of it. Not.
Yeah, well, the rest of it's great. Yeah, I love the rest of it. I think it's perfect, and I'm not opposed to reciting this pledge every day when we start the show.
Yeah. Well, I'm good on it. I did it for years.
All right. Let's get us started. This was a hell of a news day. Thank you, Sue, for sending a donation through
Yay, Sue. Thank you. You're the best. No, she is. I meant that genuinely.
No, Sue really is great.
I really do. I mean, I assume it's who I assume. Like, I guess it could be another Sue, but I just...
Yeah, and Mika also, thank you for the donation.
Thank you, Mika. I love that name.
Mika, you're also the best.
Guys, we also need to tap the screen, by the way. Let's make sure we're tapping, because that's the only way we're going to get to the For You page. We don't have like the added, algorithm optimization of gifting, because that's a big way also that you can be optimized in the algorithm. So let's make sure we're tapping the screen as much as possible.
Also, Rich and
it's okay to feel a little pain.
Rich and Patricia also. And I'll try and check these
Thank you,
every
Rich.
half hour.
Thank you for Patricia so much. We really appreciate it. More than you guys know, truly.
Yeah. Well, let's.
Well, yeah. This is what I want to do because, like, this I know this outline is like from all the way from last Friday, and there's so much stuff going on. So, like, let's just start. Like, what we obviously should start with is the border bill because I can't take any more lies. I can't hear anymore. And I didn't get my TikTok finished. It's just so much to go over with the border. It's just ridiculous. But this is the general idea here. And I invite, if anyone sees Big Block around, I invited him to listen to this and then give us his opinions if he wants to come up here. Because my general take on this, and when I started going over it, is like they underplayed it. Like, this is much more stringent, like much more strict of a border deal than even I expected. But I also want to say, like, I don't mean to say that to be worrying, because I also would like to say that I just want, like, in terms of full transparency and like admitting when it's not so much that I'm saying I was wrong, but like, I just want to say, like, until I started doing deep dives into border data and like really looking into the struggle and stuff of what's going on, I think like you can get a little bit desensitized. And I even live in a border state where it's a huge issue all the time. And so I think that what this deal really denotes is that mass migration is a problem. It's going to continue to be a problem. Our federal immigration laws were written in a time when mass migration due to climate crisis and destabilized and failing economies was not occurring on a mass level. And now that it is, and this is the new normal of the world we're living in, rising seas, drought, war, like, as that's the new normal, then the laws need to be updated to reflect that. And that's what I've been saying the whole time, is that absolutely everything MAGA is saying is not true. Like, we need to update immigration laws. We've seen in detail that executive orders won't do it, right? Because eventually they are struck down in the courts. And I'm not just talking about Trump's Remain in Mexico that was eventually struck down by a Republican judge. Also Biden, who's been trying to use executive orders and change things at the border and has been struck down in federal court because they violate federal immigration law. So yeah, like, those are my takes, is just, so I made some bullet points of the things that are changing that I think are important, and we can go over those and then also go over like what's going on. That's the top of the outline. I just put.
Let's do that. That's the one you sent, the bullet points that you sent me earlier today.
Yeah, the bullet points of the new border deal.
Yeah, let's go over that.
Yeah. So, okay, here's what's changing. So there's no amnesty or legalization of anyone in the U.S. illegally. So if you're here and not illegally, right, then you will not receive amnesty or legalization. Funds.
And that's likely a large concession by Democrats, right? The Democrats repeatedly said that in a new border deal they wanted to talk about amnesty. It was important, but this is clearly a concession from Democrats recognizing, all right, we have to do something about this. We're not going to have the votes to get amnesty, so we're abandoning it. But
which is the biggest like holdout thing for most Democrats was amnesty. So and then moving on. So funds an increase in ICE detention capacity to approximately 50,000 from the current 34,000. So the big problem with having more beds for detention is funding. And so this is providing that funding essentially to get more detention beds. So fewer people it doesn't seem like people are going to be released on parole. So let's get to that. This is a big change. So actually, this is so crazy.
One of the things that I noticed that is interesting about the MAGA folks is that increasing from 34,000 to 50,000. One of the criticism, it's the same criticism as always. Oh, what we're not doing anything for our veterans or for the unhoused, and we're just paying for criminals to have a place to stay. Like even with this, I've never heard that. I never hear MAGA folks talk about that when they talk about actual criminals from the United States and how much it costs us to house people in prisons all across the United States. I don't hear about that. We don't seem to care about housing prisoners. In fact, Republicans tend to spend more money and try and get more prisoners.
But listen, this is the issue, and that's all changing. So we should talk about this, because what this border deal will do is reduce the wait time, right? Like right now we have people who are going to be here 2 to 3 years waiting for an immigration judge. It reduces it to months. But they're saying going from 34,000 to 50,000 because that's an increase in spending. It's their generic response to any spending. What about the veterans? What about the unhoused? And I'm just saying they don't mean that. They don't give a fuck about that. Oh, of course they don't. Yeah. But the point is, no, but that's the argument, that makes no sense, because what's going on right now is whether we spend this money in their home countries, re-stimulating and stabilizing that economy and making it safer, whether we spend this money in sanctuary cities, housing people while they await immigration claims, or whether we spend this money detaining them in a prison, the money's getting spent. So it's not an argument. But anyways, let's just move on, because this is the important parts. So this is the new rule. The stuff you're hearing when you hear Republicans, Republican leadership was doing it, so let me just say the quote that is a lie. So Steve Scalise excreted this. Let me be clear. The Senate border bill...
What? He did what with that?
Excreted.
How did that come out? He just excreted it?
Yeah. The Senate border bill will not receive a vote in the House. So what he's saying is, because they know if this bill was brought to the floor, it would resoundingly pass, they are not even going to let it be voted on. That's what they're doing. Depending on how the pressure campaign in the media goes, because this bill is so favorable to the Republicans, it's ridiculous. But basically saying they're not even going to let it be voted on. And here's what he's giving his reason for. Here's what the people pushing this deal aren't telling you. It accepts 5,000 illegal immigrants a day and gives automatic work permits to asylum recipients, a magnet for more illegal immigration. This is not true. So now let's go over why. So that's what everyone's been clinging to, right? That it accepts 5,000 new immigrants a day. That's what Guerrilla's screaming about. Well, that's a lie. So what this is at a 7-day rolling average, so a 7-day period of 5,000 counters per day, or any one day where there's 8,500 encounters in a single day, DHS is required to shut the border down and turn away anyone who crosses. So no new asylum claims will be allowed, and anybody crossing will be removed. It would end the whole idea of I made it to U.S. soil, you have to process me. That will no longer be true. Sorry,
Right, and I think it funnels... It funnels everybody to actual ports at that point, too, right?
That would be, so the Border Patrol would not process a legal crosser, and they would be removed. No asylum claim permitted unless it's at a port of entry. So now, also, any people crossing in between ports of entry at that point they can't make asylum claims. You can't just cross anywhere and hope they don't have the resources there, and you get to make an asylum claim and you're released on parole.
Right.
That's
it's
not true.
Process. Bobby. When Bobby was on talking about asylum claims and talking about what this would change, one of the things that he brought up is that when you go to a port of entry, it's different, right? So, for example, Eagle Pass, some of these places where people are crossing and then going in claiming asylum, like they get into the country first, then they claim asylum. At a port of entry, you're not into the country first, right? You go to the port. Therefore, if you're asking or making asylum claims at a port of entry, you will be turned back. You will have more people turned back. That means that there's less people in the country. Now, it sucks. Like I hate this so much because I recognize that there's a crisis, but I also recognize that these are real people, and that I feel more comfortable about their safety here in the United States than remaining in Mexico and staying on that side of the border. I just think that they're safer here. And I think that we have more resources where we can help them, food, medical attention. There's a lot of these people have made such a long journey that we can help them, but we don't have the resources, and that's what this is about. But I just think that there will never be enough for Republicans in this deal, and you'll cover it, but there will never be enough. Like, the truth is, they don't want immigrants here that are brown. That's the truth. They won't say it, but that's what they want. They're afraid of being replaced. If you don't believe me, look at every Republican on Twitter, every prominent Republican on Twitter. Elon Musk, Charlie Kirk, Ben Shapiro, Tim Pool, they're all pushing great replacement theory right now. Every single one of them. This has nothing to do with the money. They do not care about the money. They don't understand the money. They have no concept of what spending looks like. They just don't want immigrants.
Okay, yeah. Well, so this goes with what I was saying prior. So just to so this does not mean, so what I read prior, if you remember it, so the rolling 7-day average of 5,000 encounters per day or 8,500 in one day to shut down the border. This, and I just want to say this again, because this is the most important part. This does not mean 5,000 people are allowed in, or as you want to call it, allowed to make asylum claims, right? So it doesn't mean 5,000 people are just allowed into the country a day. That's not what's happening. Under this new bill, single adults will be detained. So any single adults are getting detained. Families like that are together, there are separate immigration laws for families that have children. And that defaults then to those laws, which is called ATD, Alternatives to Detention. So that's more like places they can house a family together versus they can't split up the children. That's part of immigration law, federal immigration law. We can't split up the children. So yeah. So again, 5,000 people aren't just allowed in. Singles will be detained. Families go to alternatives to detention for families, and asylum cases now under the new laws are going to be fast-tracked to months rather than years under a new rapid expedited expulsion system. Those who fail the rapid expedited expulsion system would be quickly removed from the U.S. Those who pass initially, which, mind you, before you say anything, the new standards to pass asylum are much stricter, but those who can pass the insanely strict standards would be released with work authorization for 90 days. So not just to collect checks, they can work, but only for 90 days. And that's how fast these asylum claims are going to be adjudicated. So, yeah. And then to go into like the more strict, let me see this. I want to find the more, go ahead. Did you have something to say? I'm going to look up the more strict asylum rules.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking about the criticism here from the right. And essentially it's like if you had your leg severed, like your knee was cut off, like from your knee down, your knee was cut off. So then you came in and you're like, all right, now what are we going to do? Because you can't just reattach a limb. So you're going to have rehab. You're going to hopefully get a prosthetic. But the Republican response is essentially this, that like, we should have stopped the knee from being cut off. Well, yeah, like we can't, like it's gone. Should we have handled ourselves differently all across this world so that we didn't have this crisis at the border? Yeah, of course. But that's the problem, I think, with Republicans right now, is that they're obsessed with blame. Those that are chirping in the big boat here in the chat.
Big boat, get up here. Yeah. Stop harassing people in the comments. You have so many incorrect opinions. Get up here and you can be informed why you're wrong.
First of all, you need to understand why we have a border crisis, so that you can address it. And if you think that we have a border crisis because Joe Biden is president, then you're just lazy. Like, you're lazy with your research. But great news, we'll do the research for you. We'll explain it to you. It's our job. We're happy to do that. But it is just this reactionary politics from the right, where the thing that they're reacting to, if a solution is offered to what they're reacting to, the knee-jerk reaction is to ignore it, because their whole personality, their entire rhetoric, everybody that's campaigning is just grievances. And when you lose that grievance, when you do something about the grievance, you have nothing to complain about. Ask yourself this, Republicans: if we're doing something about the border now, why does that upset you? How can you complain that we're doing nothing about the border, then we try and do something about the border and it makes you upset also? It might just be that you don't really know what's going on and you don't really care. You just like being able to point at Joe Biden and say bad.
No, it's because it's very simple. And they were saying it on Fox News openly yesterday. The problem is more valuable to Republicans than the solution. The problem is the last item they have to get Donald Trump elected. Everything else he's done he's disenfranchised women. He's got kids going to school being terrified of being unalive. Like, every single other issue has failed Republicans. The only thing beneficial to them is this problem, not the solution. But think about it. Literally, usually House leadership won't bring a bill to the floor when they know they don't have the votes to pass it, right? That Nancy Pelosi's famous line to Kevin McCarthy after the 15 rounds to elect him speaker. Like, you don't go to the floor without the votes. But this time, they won't go to the floor. Steve Scalise is saying they will never bring it to a vote. Why not, Steve Scalise? Oh, because this is overwhelmingly good for Republicans. Yeah. And real Republicans who aren't afraid to stand up to Donald Trump, like Dan Crenshaw, are saying the truth. Like, this is good for his constituents in Texas, and he's not going to do his constituents a disservice and not vote for it. Like, I mean, that's the reality of what's going on here.
Yeah, look, and if you look at the criticism now, like even the criticism, the outrage now from Republicans, like, they're grasping at straws about what to be outraged with. Some of them, there are Republicans like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who, no matter what, like, they're gonna toe the line. They're gonna stick to the party narrative. They'll continue to say crazy things. They don't care. Like, they're not worried about if something is factual or not. But there are some Republicans who, like, try and mix the MAGA messaging and the Republican messaging. And this hybrid excuse that they've come up with now is, we don't want to hamstring the next president. Because this is a 3-year deal. This expires in 3 years. Because obviously our border is ever changing, and we've never had a crisis like this before.
No, but there's latitude. I just want to be clear, as someone who's researched this a lot, that's not a good argument, because the president has latitude. It's not stuck at 5,000. If they need to lower it because the crisis increases it to 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, there's latitude in the bill to do that.
Correct. And, by the way, Congress can renegotiate at any time. You can renegotiate this deal.
Oh, they'd have to do their jobs.
Yeah, but to say that this is hamstringing first of all, why are you worried about the next president?
No, because they just mean the election, right? Like, Ron Johnson's the one that's saying that, and he's talking about it would hamstring Trump from being elected in general. Right,
but that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to point out here, Felice. Obviously we know what they're saying. Obviously we know why they're saying this. But that's what they try and do. They try and merge these two messages together to get Republicans like Big Boat in here confused. Where you're like, oh, wait, we do care about the border because it's all we talk about, but we're rejecting this. So there must be a reason. And that's the beauty of being a Republican these days. Like, you can pretend you're the party of fiscal conservancy. Or conservancy. Is it conservancy?
Conservancy.
Yeah.
Conservatism, yeah.
Yeah. Can I
a conservancy is what happened to Britney Spears. Like it's good. Like
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, they pretend that they don't spend. They pretend that they care about the border. They pretend that suddenly they've become the like anti-war party, which is a bizarre change. But it's all messaging, and it always is. And that's the beauty about being a Republican congressperson, is that you can say whatever you want. Your constituents don't fucking know, and they don't care. When they're shown that you're lying, they don't care. They just are like, well, everybody else must be lying. It couldn't possibly be the Republicans. They've gotten so used to being lied to that they no longer recognize what's true and what's not.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking every single day last couple of years. If this bill was signed into law. Yeah, so I just want to reiterate this point because I don't think I've said it enough. Like, if this bill is signed into law, because this is the simplest way, and I think a great way to explain it, is if this bill is signed into law, and this had been, for the last year, what we're using, the last 4 months, the border would have been closed. Period. The border would have been shut down because it reaches the level of an emergency. So for the last 4 months, like this, and my reading of this bill, and believe me, I haven't even gotten close to reading it all, but like when I'm actually looking at the text of the bill, like it's really the difference between like the start of Biden's presidency. I think the strategy was just like, okay, we have so few border resources, which this is not unique to Biden. This is also about Trump, right? Trump's was the same way. The strategy was, we have such thin resources. When we don't have resources, there's nothing we can do. Just let everyone in. At that point, right? Just let people, like, parole people inside the U.S. And the new strategy is, okay, we don't have any more resources. We've been spread thin. Shut the border down. Like that's the difference. So yeah.
Look, yeah, exactly. They presented the solution, a good solution for everything that Republicans have been asking for, and that Republicans are just like, no, like, we don't want to govern, we don't want to legislate. We are here for one reason and one reason only: Donald John Trump, and whatever he says, like, we're going to do.
You gotta get him acquitted of his crimes.
Yeah,
like,
and look, some of these people are dumb. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, dumb. Lauren Boebert, dumb. Some of these people are dumb, but a lot of them aren't dumb. They're actually very smart, and they're calculated, and they understand that in order for them to remain in power, they need to do what Donald Trump says. Look at Langford. Langford is being blasted by MAGA. He's a traitor.
He's a Republican rhino from Oklahoma, a real conservative.
And why? Why are they mad at him? Because he did his fucking job. He legislated. He negotiated. He tried to bring Mike Johnson in on the deal, and Mike Johnson lied about that. Like, I wasn't invited. He was invited, it turns out. And James Langford, I'm seeing him now, like, he's just baffled. He's like, I don't know what the fuck you guys expect. Like, it was Democrats weren't happy about the fact that James Langford was the one that was put in charge of this. Why? Because he was an ultra-conservative. They were worried that they weren't going to be able to get what they wanted out of James Langford. James Langford negotiated a bill that slants heavily towards what Republicans wanted. This was an incredible negotiation by him. He did very, very well for Republicans. Republicans should be very proud that they got a lot of what they wanted, and they were able to avoid many things that they didn't want, specifically amnesty. James Langford is a much better negotiator than Donald Trump. He did what you wanted, and now he's a rhino. Why? Because Donald Trump wants to be able to campaign and run around the country and rip this border crisis. And if it gets better, if we start seeing improvement, that's going to fall on deaf ears. That's the whole reason this is happening. That's the whole reason right now that you have Republicans in the chat arguing, because of Donald Trump.
He's even trying to give Mike Johnson out. Mike Johnson was caught on Meet the Press, basically just saying there's no, basically lying, saying that they never came to him and asked him to be part of the negotiations, that he wasn't included. And they're just like, it's a blatant lie. He got caught lying. He got caught lying about multiple things, saying that the bill, like everything, like, Right? They never saw the text of the bill. They've spent weeks now lying about it and saying all these lies about, oh, there 5,000 people are allowed in every day. Now that we see the text, that's an absolute lie. Right? It doesn't mean 5,000 people are allowed in a day at all. It just means the border is going to be shut down when there's a 7-day rolling average, which again means the border would have been closed every day of the last 4 months. Like, that's what that means. So right. The lies just keep on coming. Like, here's, yeah, and the other thing that really makes it clear in here, and I was alluding to because it's what the Biden administration had been sued for. Oh, what?
Yeah, real quick, just because I want to keep, I'm watching the comments to try and troll in the middle there. Big Boat says, like, I'm more interested in an investigation into the FBI and DOJ. Yeah, of course you are. Of course you're more interested in the people that are trying to hold Donald Trump accountable. Of course. Of course. Now, Donald Trump, he's very interested in that too. But why do you only care about things that revolve around Trump? Like, none of this affects us. The FBI, DOJ investigating Donald Trump, that doesn't affect
No, they cared about the border.
Bit.
No, they cared about the border until it got fixed, right? Until now there is sensible legislation that will fix every single thing you guys have been complaining about. And now all of a sudden, Big Boat's not interested. Well, you were interested in it last week when I've watched you complain in these comments. But now you're no longer interested in fixing the problem. You guys, the replacement theory you guys are pushing, right? Brown people are taking your jobs. What about that? What happened? Oh, that's over now? It's not over, but now it's no longer a problem for you guys, and you don't want to fix it. Like, this is as good as it will ever get for you.
Someone asked if this bill addresses the northern border, like, kind of, right? These policies still are in effect, like, these policies affect the northern border too, but no, it doesn't. But it doesn't put a bunch of resources there. And I'm wearing the shirt, Poisoning the Blood. I would like to remind us that our Northern Border Patrol is doing nothing to protect these people or these geese from coming into our country. Not a thing. I still see illegal Canadian geese every day here in Arizona, and they're not doing anything about that.
Okay. Yeah. But yes, this border bill is for all of our borders, but the resources are allocated where they're needed, obviously, where the surges are. That's the point. Let's wait. I wanted to go over a couple more things. So I think I said this, but the shutdown authority doesn't drop until crossings decrease significantly in the following days. So that's why the border would have been, if you're questioning why would it be shut down for 4 months, because the rolling average has to go back down in order for the border to reopen. And we are in, as I've been saying every day, we have a humanitarian crisis at the border. And this is the problem. And in my research, what I've really learned is that it's not just and Biden and Kamala are doing this. They're investing in Central American economies, creating more jobs. And we've already seen a drop in people from Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua. So we know that works, but that's a longer term plan. And while we're doing that, right, what we also know works is deterrence. Like, we have to get it out of people's heads and this is all your fault, MAGA, 100% your fault that everybody in the free world is saving all their money to make an attempt to cross our southern border. That's your fault for every day saying our border is wide open. You brought them all here with your whining. So now we have to deter people from buying that ticket from Africa to Mexico and attempting a very dangerous crossing. People need to know, because we are enforcing laws at the southern border. Gorilla's calling me a lie. Gorilla, every day you come up here and lie. You are the lie. Like, are you joking? Gorilla, the yelling about 5,000 people and how that was so awful. It was wrong. You made up another lie. That was you, the first person that screamed that at me. And you lied. Everything you say is literally a lie. It's ridiculous. But if you want to come up and cry, Gorilla, actually, never mind. You can't. Hey, Bushmaster.
This was your invite.
I did not.
Didn't you say you invited Bushmaster to talk about this?
No.
Oh.
So I don't know what you're talking about.
I thought you said that earlier today. Did you not say that? Was that a different live? What's up, Bushmaster? Well, are you there?
Sorry about that.
I think you're kind of cutting out. There he is.
I was gonna say you can't blame that on MAGA. Police.
The fact that the entire world thinks the border's wide open, I absolutely can. You guys, as somebody that used to work in advertising, you guys have done the most successful propaganda campaign of all time. No, really, you need to take responsibility for why all the people are at the southern border. It's because of you guys. It's because of Fox News. Every day advertising that people could walk over the border. That was your doing.
Have you ever been out of the country,
You did
Police?
that.
Have you ever?
Yes, I lived out of the country. This is going to come as a shock to you. I lived in South America. I lived in Mexico. Please don't do that. Don't embarrass yourself. I lived in England. Please stop.
Okay, so I've been to
you lived
Iraq,
out of the country?
Afghanistan.
Yeah, where did you live out of the country?
Absolutely, Iraq, Afghanistan, and all those places.
Stop,
And when I was in the military,
that's not. Listen,
I couldn't
you did
get
not
Fox
live
News
out of the
when I
country.
was
You
in the
lived on a military
over there. So how the
base
fuck are
and
those people getting
terrorized
Fox News?
local
That's what I
populations.
wanna know.
You lived on a
How are they
military
getting Fox
base
News?
and
When I was in
terrorized
the
local
military over
populations.
there, I couldn't
You
even
did
get it.
not live
How
in
in the
another
hell is that
country.
possible?
You lived on a military base and
Yes.
terrorized local
Yes, and I
populations.
couldn't even get Fox News.
Hold on.
please.
Hold on. Hey, Bushmaster. Bad news. There's this thing called satellite, and there's this other thing called the goddamn internet. You don't need a. You don't
When I was
need.
over
Wait.
there,
Wait. I wasn't done. How did they get Fox News?
Wait, these people are oppressed and seeking
the
and
internet.
seeking.
Wait, Bushmaster. The internet is how.
No, bro, nothing you're saying
No.
makes sense, bro.
You don't think? Wait, hold on. What I just
No.
said is that Fox News broadcasts via the internet, and your response to that was nothing you're saying, and that's the only thing I've said makes sense. Are you
No.
telling me that Fox News is not broadcast on the internet?
She said
No,
media.
you're
The
talking to me.
media.
You're
She
talking to
said
me.
Fox
Hey,
News.
Bushmaster, you're talking
I don't care.
to me.
I'm addressing what
Bushmaster,
was said.
You're talking to me right now.
I don't care.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
said that there's no way they can
what
get
was
Fox
said?
News.
No, let's not focus on what I said. Let's focus
Oh,
on
let's
what
not.
was
Yeah,
said.
let's not focus on the words you said when you said, "How could they get Fox
no,
News?" I didn't even
no,
have
it don't
Fox
work like
News.
that.
Did
But
you not know how to use the
I would
internet?
say you're wrong. I would say Executive Order 14010, where President Biden sent fucking goddamn people overseas to educate these people on all this shit, had a lot more to do with it. When he signed it February, I think it was the 1st or the 2nd of 2021. That's actually brought all these people. So
and
I would
Bushmaster,
say Biden manufactured
and that's not what that
shit.
was. That was to help people avoid traffickers.
No.
Yes,
hold on,
it is. You have no idea
sent-
what you're talking
They
about.
sent federal
Bushmaster,
agents
hold on,
over there.
Hold on.
You have no
Everybody.
idea what you're talking
Hold
about.
on. Shh, everybody, hold on.
Why?
Bushmaster, I want to make sure that I have your claim right here. You think that more
It's
people
manufactured.
That was the middle of my question, my friend. Have a little bit of impulse control, okay?
No, you're trying to tell me what I think.
I
told you
haven't
it's
finished my
manufactured.
question yet, so calm the fuck down. I'm
Okay, we'll
asking
restart your question.
Okay, thank you. And will you let me finish before you answer? Is that okay?
As long as you don't start it with "you think," because you don't know what I think.
Well, no, I'm asking if this is what you think. That's what the question is. So, are you saying? Okay, well, here we go. You almost did it.
That's good. Go.
Are you saying that you think an executive order that more people around the world are reading executive? I wasn't done. That's the middle. Are you saying you think more people are aware of an executive order than the constant and daily broadcasts claiming that the border is open?
I would say the federal agents that were sent over there to educate these people on it, yes, they are more.
That wasn't my
qualified to know
question.
about
That wasn't
it.
my question at all. My question is, do you think that executive order and let's say the agents that went over? I don't know why you're saying agents. It was literally just like it was.
Well,
just
they're agents of the
instructions
government.
It was instructions on.
Employees. Is that a better word for it?
I understand. Calm down. That was the middle. they were just giving instructions on how to legally come to our country. You think that's why we have a crisis at the border? Because
it's manufactured.
We explained to other countries how to legally migrate here. Is that right?
Rather than illegally.
It's absolutely manufactured, man.
Yeah. What?
What?
What are you talking about?
It doesn't even.
You don't know?
No.
I don't think you know. Why?
But wait, no, let me ask a question. I don't want to, let's not, because sometimes we just get bogged down fighting about dumb stuff, and I don't want to do that. Like, so the new text of the bill on the border that's been released, Bushmaster, the bottom line is that just let me ask the question. Under this new text, if it had been law.
Are you talking about the Senate bill?
Listen to me.
I'm trying to figure out what bill you're talking about.
Yes, I'm talking about the Senate bill, the text of the bill that was released on Sunday. If that had been law, the border would have been completely shut down for the last 4 months. Not a day. No, we'd be accepting no one.
Yeah, but it had funding in
there. No, there's no but.
Yes, it
there's no but.
Discretionary funding
no but.
You cannot deny that.
There's no but.
Wait,
that doesn't address specifically the border.
Then Bushmaster. So are you
need to build?
Bushmaster.
I'm saying you need to build
it. It does.
Bushmaster.
Yes, you're not even. You don't even know. So this bill, you just this bill addresses building more wall. Inside the bill, it addresses building more wall. That will be built. Inside this bill, it addresses. Stop talking. It addresses. Instead of immigration judges, the new expedited process doesn't require immigration judges to make decisions on asylum claims. And so now immigration officials can do it, and it will be 3 months instead of 3 years. Every objection you have, this bill handles.
No.
Wait, Bushmaster, real quick. Bushmaster, stop. No, stop. Shut up.
She made
God damn, shut up!
Let me respond.
No, I will. Shut the fuck up. Listen, this is my platform.
Chill, bro.
I want to have a good discussion. Bushmaster, I'm muting your microphone when it's not your turn because there's an echo and people need to hear. So I'm trying to facilitate a conversation between you and Felice, but I need you to listen to instructions when you are a guest on someone else's platform. I'm sorry that I had to yell, but the only way to get you to listen is if I do. So when you're muted when Felice is talking, it's because there's an echo. So please, be nice. I will step out. I will let you guys discuss this, but just be aware that if your microphone's unmuted, there's a massive echo and nobody can hear, okay?
Okay, so you're saying I have an echo. All you had to do was say you have an echo.
I was trying, but you were talking over me, so I had to yell at you.
No, you went on like a 10-minute talk there.
Okay, go ahead go ahead and respond.
So yeah, she's talking about the border. I'm not saying anything's wrong with the bill as far as the border goes. What I'm saying is wrong with the bill is the discretionary spending. We don't need that shit in the.
Talking about Ukraine.
I'm talking about Ukraine. I'm talking about Israel. I'm talking about all of it.
So then, to be clear, you're saying that. If we had fixed, like Felice said, she pointed out that the border would have been closed the last 4 months. You're saying that you would rather have an open border, as you call it, and you would rather have all this happening than try and fix it, but also fix Ukraine and Israel at the same time. You can't vote for it. You can't. No, well, that sounds like what you're saying.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, then what are you saying?
Remove the discretionary funding, fix the border, and then deal with the other shit.
Okay, but that's not going. Okay, but that's not going to happen. So my question is: are you saying you cannot support fixing the border if we also help Ukraine?
No, it just kind of feels more like a blackmail or something like that to me in politics.
Well, who's blackmailing who? Who's blackmailing who?
Hey, we'll give you this, but you got to give us this.
Who is doing the blackmailing?
The damn
bipartisan negotiation works.
What's that? What'd you say? I didn't hear you.
I said the politicians that are writing the bills.
Yeah, you understand that's how this works, right? You go in Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah, but
and they work
that's
on.
not how it should work. I don't give a damn about how it works. I said how it should work.
Holy shit, Bushmaster! stop cutting me off. I just let you answer. You understand, and by the way, this is not only how it works, it's how it should work, it's how it was designed to work. Bills have always been designed to be Congress or the Senate coming together, negotiating, and making concessions to each other, and coming up with the bill that works for everybody. What you're demanding, and what you MAGA wings are demanding, is that everybody do everything your way. And if you don't do it your way, then you will shut down the government. This is now a MAGA border crisis. If you do nothing about this until January, then this is on you guys. But you don't care. You just want things your way or the highway. But you don't have enough people. You don't have enough backing. You don't have enough votes. You don't have the majority, but you act like you should be the majority and everybody should capitulate to what MAGA wants. You're all children, every one of you.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, that's not what it is. What I'm saying is what is best for America, not Ukraine.
That's your opinion. Hold on. That's your opinion.
No, but Bushmaster, that's because you don't understand the global supply chain. That's you have a misunderstanding of foreign policy
I don't care about the global supply chain. I'm not talking about the global supply chain. I don't care about that right now.
Yeah, Bushmaster, you don't know what it is, because if you did, you would understand.
I do know what Article 4, Section 4 of the United States Constitution says, and they are to uphold that first over everything. They're not supposed to blackmail past that point. That is constitutional law.
What are you talking about? That's not what we're talking about. What I'm trying to explain to you is that you do not understand how the commodities market works, and how a war in the breadbasket of the Middle East and Europe affects domestically the prices here. You guys are complaining every day about eggs, about bread. That's what's affecting the prices. You guys don't understand that. That's what I'm saying. You have to have an understanding of foreign policy to get that. That's why you guys are missing it.
Little old Ukraine or Israel is not affecting it that much.
Bushmaster, you understand, and I'm going to mute you because of that echo.
But
you understand, I don't support funding Israel. I don't want us funding Israel in their war against the Palestinians. I don't want that. I'm against that. I'm against that funding as well. But I recognize that we have a lot of issues, including in Ukraine, including in Israel, and including at the border. And so I'm willing to say, all right, this bill is good enough. It's better than nothing. I will take this bill over what we're currently doing. And I recognize, I would have liked to see amnesty included in this bill, but that it wasn't going to happen. Democrats capitulated on all of this, and so did Republicans. But again, what I'm pointing out is that you MAGA folks, you think that everything has to go your way. And you don't know, you have no idea how to live in a society where everything doesn't go your way and everybody doesn't believe exactly what you believe. You demand that everybody be MAGA, and this is why you keep losing elections, but it's also why we can't get anything, but it's also why we can't get anything. It's also why we can't get anything done in Congress. That's why this is the least effective Congress in the history of our country, because MAGA demands, as a small minority, that people do what they say.
No, we demand that the politicians take care of the people that they were elected to take care of first. That's what.
Am I one of those people, Bushmaster? Bushmaster, am I one of those people?
Hold on.
Am I one of those people?
Can I finish?
No. Am I one of those people?
Can I finish? No, you made a bunch of comments.
No, I'm answering your question. No, you cannot. I'm stopping you at this part. Am I one of those people? Are Democrats
you're not,
people?
Obviously.
Oh, we're not. Yeah, exactly. You think you guys are the only ones that fucking matter. You think you're the only ones with an opinion. You're making my point. There are millions and millions and millions of America who understand what a compromise looks like.
Yeah, but you already explained that you hate America.
Compromising is how things work in Congress. Okay. No, shut up. This is how Congress works. This is what you're supposed to do. But you guys, with your take my ball and go home attitude, you are the softest, thinnest, pussiest group of people I've ever seen.
You're the one that capitulated.
You cannot handle when things don't go your way, and you just throw fits. You just throw fits nonstop. It's a bunch of children. You have to understand that there's other people in this country, and that other people in this country also want to see progress on the border. And you're saying we will throw away all progress if we don't get our way. We will make things worse until we get our way. And that's who you guys are.
No.
And when
You're
you
the one that
guys
said you
never have
capitulated and
control
said
of
you was soft.
Congress again, when you guys never have the majority in the House again, remember this time when you guys wouldn't reasonably compromise, when you were unwilling to come to the table. So remember this time, because all you've proven are Republicans can't have a majority because you grind the government
Proven
to a
is that
halt.
y'all are soft and not us because we're not willing to
Stop
capitulate for that
unmuting.
bullshit.
There's
That's
a goddamn echo. Stop unmuting when I mute you. Last chance. Here's your mute. Don't unmute. Okay, let's see how long. Okay, you're gone. You're an idiot. That's enough out of you. God.
Okay. I mean, I think I want somebody to talk with us about it. I don't want to fight. Like,
You guys all, where are all the MAGA people come from? What's up, Peace Through Strength? You guys all have the worst. I don't know what happened there.
I didn't do that. Just
No,
to be, I did not.
It said guest went offline. That wasn't you.
Okay.
I don't know. You're welcome to come back.
Want to talk to somebody about the border. So if it's
Look,
Bush,
there's Gorilla. Look,
do you not
Gorilla,
want to talk to Bush? I don't. No. Gorilla says horrific things about women.
Sorry, Gorilla. Get out the box. Let's see. Y'all's time to capitulate. We did capitulate.
I'm fine talking to Bushmaster. I don't have a problem talking. I want to talk to someone about the border. But the problem is, I mean, that, like, if your argument is just a very small fraction of this country will compromise with no one. Yeah. So right now, as long as the 118th Congress is in session, we're stuck with you guys torpedoing and grinding, like, the ability of the government to function to a halt. Let's all remember this time and then vote accordingly, and never let the Republicans have the majority in Congress, especially in the House, because they refuse to write any legislation or do their jobs. Like,
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the Republicans saying, like, they don't like this bill or that there's problems with this bill. That's fine. Like, I don't think anybody is entirely happy with this bill. But, like, the MAGA Republicans have become this group of people that demand that everything go exactly their way, and they can't handle anything different. I don't understand even how do you even live your life like that? What you've got to be lonely as hell living a life like that. Like, it's my way or nothing all the time.
women unless they were sexually abused by Donald Trump, and then you shame them for having the courage to speak out about it.
What's up? I didn't see a name there. Big Fox, welcome.
Yes, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
All right. I will say I do agree with a lot of what you said. Right now, Congress is only hold like a two congressional seat majority. This is the best deal they're going to get when it comes to the border. I think they're running out of time. It's looking bad. And they pretty much played their hand or showed their hand saying that, oh, we're just doing this for Trump. I mean, I voted Trump in 2016, Biden in this last election. And right now, I'll be honest with you, although I'm not a real crazy Biden fan, I think he's doing okay. He's doing all right for the most part. But the other party just does not have anything concrete when it comes to substance. And then when they do, they get everything they want, and they still kind of like, well, we don't like it because, well, it's Trump. Trump says told us not to engage, so we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna bring it up for a vote. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's like it's kid stuff. You guys only work 4 months out of the damn year, and you can't even get this through. Can't even get something that you wanted through. I just don't understand it, man. This is crazy. No other country. I've been to 40 different countries, and ours is the only country I've ever. I can't believe how much just the idiotic nature of our government and how it is, the grandstanding, the just buffoonery. It's just ridiculous, man. Man, I say right this: the guy, the House Speaker, he's really overplayed his hand, and he's gonna. Yeah, I mean,
A point where like a brave moderate Republican should oust him, because this is what you should be ousted for. You want to talk about the motion to vacate, holding up a solution to a humanitarian crisis for Donald Trump, so Donald Trump can pardon himself from his crimes he committed and doesn't want to be accountable for. Now there's a reason to use the motion to vacate.
yes, I agree. I just these guys go on these shows, these talk shows, and they just lie, and the hosts will tell them like, no, that's not true. You said this and that, and they'll come up with some. Oh well, they'll point to some little insignificant part of the legislation that says, oh, this is the reason why we're not going to bring it up for a vote. That makes no sense. You get 90% of what you wanted, and complain about the border, the fentanyl, everything. You get everything you want in this bill, and then you just say, well, we're not going to do it because Donald Trump says don't do it. I mean, come on. It's just blatantly obvious that they're not even trying to legislate or do anything. And they only hold a 2-seat majority. I mean, absurd. It's just absurd.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, and I look at you, I look at all media types, I have Breaking Points, Young Turks, the Majority Report, everybody. So I absorb a lot of people's opinions. I debate.
Well, and if you watch those, that like all of those are left leaning, and there is a wide spectrum of
music
beliefs.
to Jay's ears.
Well, there's a wide spectrum of beliefs in that group. Like if you watch Majority Report and you watch Young Turks, you're going to get two very different viewpoints of the world, and they're going to cover different stories that matter to them differently. Like on the left, you can go around and you can find varying degrees of like leftism, I'd say, right? And that's what's nice. Like if you want a more moderate take, you didn't used to be, but you might go to the Young Turks now at this point. If you want to look for the more liberal position, you're probably going to go over to the Majority Report. But there's a wide variety of beliefs on the left. Also
Breaking Points too with Crystal Ball, and she has the Sager guy who's
I can't figure them out, but
I mean I do get some good conversation with them back and forth. Anna Kasparian is the one she's pretty interesting. She's been a little bit more conservative lately, and I can understand. She has an opinion, but she backs it up with facts, and she definitely does not like Gavin Newsom. Even when she's doing a one-on-one with her subscribers, she does not like that guy.
That's not.
But I just don't understand how. I mean, when you think about it, they wanted to give a raise to themselves in Congress. They only work 4 months out of the year. And the major legislation, the biggest thing they whine about the entire freaking year, they don't even want to do it now. Now it's always, we can't do it.
Rafael Cruz, born in Canada and trying to debate where Obama was born, wants security detail in the airport. Have you heard about that? That's what Ted Cruz wants. Ted Cruz is pushing a bill so he gets security detail in the airport when he's escaping to Cancun. Oh, and they can be searched like privately. They don't have to go through security lines anymore. Like Ted Cruz is a piece.
I think I don't know where we came just in the last couple of years, how grossly absurd the right has gotten. And now he used to be a conservative. You used to be a conservative, RTP. Yeah. I mean, I just understand how off the beaten track they've gotten to the point where they just throw out anything that sticks, and they raise a lot of money. They go on like the Charlie Kirks of the world.
That's unrecognizable from when I was a conservative.
Yeah,
it's not even remotely the same party.
Yeah, it's not even close. It's like, what are you guys doing?
It's very angry. It's militant. It's anti Constitution. It's anti-law.
Martin Luther King Jr. Now we've
everything.
No, Charlie Kirk now like the person he always has been. He had to hide it a little bit, when he was like starting Turning Point, and now he's just like, I'm gonna yell this out loud. Like, I hate women, I hate minorities, and now I'm just gonna yell it out loud. And people like, I don't think we included in our last outline, but do you guys know who Tudor Dixon is? She was Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Detroit or of Michigan's opponent. And she's pretty crazy. Like, I remember her saying things like that were nuts. And she just came out and absolutely is leveling Charlie Kirk. Like, she's like, we can't let this guy as a Republican Party continue talking. And she's MAGA. She's like, we can't let him continue speaking because we're never going to have a young woman vote for the Republicans again. Like, somebody do something about this guy.
I had an argument with Charlie Kirk. We had a one-on-one. It was off screen, off of YouTube. It's like a little debate, and I asked him. I said, "What does the Republican Party offer its constituents other than culture war bullshit?" Honestly, and he's like, "Oh, it goes with the standard lowering taxes. I say, yeah, that benefits most of the rich, and you can look up you can look at the stats. It definitely benefits more of the rich than anybody else. That's not something. Well, we believe in law enforcement and blah blah blah. Oh, you do? Well, that January 6th doesn't look too good for you guys if that's what you believe in.
Leader.
Yeah, exactly. It's just he couldn't answer that. He has nothing. Culture war nonsense. Like I said, why are you going after Taylor Swift? Like what? Because she invites more newer voters, younger voters in, so they're scared. That's all it is. It has nothing to do with her per se. It's mostly she can bring in a substantial amount of young voters for the Democratic
Her winning
Party.
a Grammy last night, but
Yeah, enraged them. They went crazy.
They lost their minds when she won the Grammy. Like, it's just embarrassing for them. Like, and they haven't even started doing war with the Swifties. There's not even enough of them to go to war with her followers online. They're about to have a really scary time. Like, if there is a couple groups of people I wouldn't anger, it's the Swifties and and BTS's army. That's terrifying.
Do you guys know do you know who Pastor Daryl Scott is?
He sounds familiar, but I can't think of it right now.
Yeah, he was a big Trump supporter. He was one of the big Christian voices.
After Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, he said Charlie Kirk. His quote is, let me see if I find it. He said, "I even said he's trying to raise up a new generation of Schmittler youth. I know I was kind of extreme in my statements, but I'm drawing the comparison to him because this guy thinks he's slick. He thinks he's the smartest guy in the room, and he's not."
Yeah, I don't understand why. I mean, it was a short period of time. I think it was last year, but everybody was gathered around Nick Fuentes, and this guy was caught on his own live picking his nose and eating his boogers on his own live.
Is that true?
That's true. You can look it up. You can literally look it up.
Documents I usually hear about him, but that's disgusting.
I couldn't believe. Yeah, it was on his own live. It was on YouTube. Yeah, he was picking his nose and eating his own boogers, and everybody's gravitating towards this guy like he's some kind of. He's Spanish too. He's Spanish descent. He's not even. He acts like he calls himself a white nationalist, but he's a Spanish descent, and the guy is just absurd.
Well, that's European. Just to be clear, Spanish descent is European, but like if he's indigenous, like then he's one of the colonized groups, right? That they colonized. Like me, I'm Mexican, indigenous Mexican, but you can be of Hispanic descent, whatever.
I mean, some of the things you see him saying or heard him saying, I should say, it is like, how is anybody following this guy? This guy should not even be nowhere near anybody. I mean, he went with Trump, him and Kanye. It's like, it's absurd. The guy says the most absurd stuff out there, and he's toxic. But you had Fresh and Fit associate with him, and they got kicked off of YouTube. Yeah. They got demonetized. And then
the funny thing about Fresh and Fit is they went and decided to be friends with Nick Fuentes, and then they basically got canceled because they were hanging out with Nick Fuentes. And then who picked them up? All the right wing. Like, all of a sudden they're on Tim Pool. All of a sudden, like, you're seeing them on True Social and on Rumble. And it's amazing how many times a person gets like, or a celebrity gets caught saying something racist or homophobic or misogynistic, and then and then suddenly they're on the right. They're just like, the right just wholeheartedly embraces them. What the right is so afraid of cancel culture that they don't really care what somebody gets canceled for. They don't care at all. They're going to bring them in. As long as they weren't canceled for advocating for Christians, right? Then,
hey, Big Fox, will you comment in the chat? Some people ask so they can follow you. So just because right now we don't have gifts on for CoinCot to support BIPOC creators. So so people can't click on your name and follow you. So if you just write a comment in the chat, then
I just say hello.
Okay, perfect. And again, guys, keep tapping the screen. We're not even to 100,000 likes. And since we're not gifting, if you want to donate to us, use one of these and we will split at the end. Go ahead.
My main criticism I will say of the Democratic Party is their messaging. Pretty much they're not aggressive enough, and they don't kind of pinpoint certain things they should talk about. They'll say, well, we know the economy is picking back up. We know the interest rates will go down next month. Unemployment's at an all-time low, energy production all-time high, so on and so on. But they got to hit those the kitchen table issues.
That's counting your follows. You got a lot of people that just followed you.
Yeah, well, Appreciate it.
Well, yeah. Well, we're going to get back to some news stories. I'd love to talk to you again. I appreciate your input, and welcome to the Liberal Club. Sounds like we left similar times. Yeah.
I've been listening to you guys' lives, and I'm just tired of the other side not bringing up a decent argument, and they don't even read anything. They're not even looking. They just going with the feelings. I'm like, dude, you can read this stuff. It doesn't hurt.
I don't know if they can. That might be a bridge too far. I don't know if all of them can read.
Yeah, you might be right.
Big Fox, I appreciate it, man. It was nice meeting you.
No problems. Take it easy.
It's nice to talk to people who make, have read and make sense sometimes, because
sorry, real quick. Big Fox, people are saying they'd love to have you join the Discord. If you're looking for a Discord link, message me or one of the mods. We'll get you one. Love to have you in there. Go ahead. Sorry to cut you.
Yeah, no, I was just saying it's just nice to remember that some people can read information and make decisions independently of what's good to help make sure Donald Trump doesn't have to take accountability for his crimes. He's back.
Real quick before
What's
you
up,
go,
guys?
real quick, just want to say thanks to Chris, Faith, and David for donating. Thank you. What's up?
Sorry, I tried to request. I got a little bit of a weak signal, so I hope it doesn't drop.
Okay.
Just discussing the border bill, and I know it dropped. The pages of the text dropped on the Senate border bill, I think late yesterday evening, late last night or something. I hadn't had a chance to look over it. I kind of skimmed a little bit, but they kind of leaked some of the stuff that was going to be on it. And, there's some things that are compromised, but I still don't know if it's the right bill. It doesn't sound like. And listening to you guys talk to Bushmaster earlier, I've been in some lives with him, a lot of them, and he gets passionate, but I kind of agree with some of the things that he was saying. Yeah, I hear, and I know what your opinions are of MAGA people and all that. I just caught some of that, but I think the thing is 5,000 people a day, if they can process them.
That's not true.
Well, that text that's not in the text?
Yeah,
they'll cap it at 5?
Yeah, so the biggest debunked thing that came out and that Langford has debunked is the 5,000 thing. So just to go over that really quick, what it is so there's a 7-day rolling average of 5,000 encounters, or 8.5 thousand encounters in one day, which we basically were averaging we were averaging 8 in December, like a day. So, and many of those days were over 10,000. So just any day over 8,500 or a rolling 7-day average of 5,000 encounters, then the border shuts down. But what's important to note about that doesn't mean they're not letting 5,000 people in. That is the part that's false. What happens is single adults, right, of those 5,000, any single adults coming and making an asylum claim are being detained. They're not going into the United States. And then families, because there's separate federal immigration law for not separating families. So families would be released via what they call ATD, alternatives to detention. And that's where they're detained like together as a unit. So they're not separating the children and the parents. And then asylum cases would be fast tracked to months, so 90 days rather than years, under a new rapid expedited expulsion system. And what that means is they're no longer going to require immigration judges to adjudicate these claims, or the majority of these claims. Immigration officials will, through a system that will basically, you input information and it spits out an answer. And so now, they're letting people in. Of the people who are approved, they get 90 days in the country with a work visa, and by then their claim is handled and they will be deported or moved into the country after that. But yeah, so it's not true that 5,000 people are just being let into the country. They're not. They're being detained. But it is just, what it is to just shut down the border. And so under this bill, and the most significant thing to note is basically, if this bill was in place, the border would have been shut down, not open for a single day of the last 4 months, because we have a humanitarian crisis at the border. And that's what it would address. So that's the point. Just to give you an idea, if this bill had been in place, the border would have
you
been
have
closed
the bill?
last 4 months.
So you have the
just
bill?
look up just look up Senate border bill.
Oh, no,
text.
I will. But
Yeah.
I'm curious because Congress doesn't, I mean, they're just now getting it. And here's the other problem I have.
We've had
all
it
of
since
those
last
things,
night. So we've had it since last night. And now
all of those things are positive. There's probably a lot of that's positive because at this point, anything that's going to improve the system the way it is, the broken system, obviously, we can all agree that will be an improvement. Any help, anything can be an improvement. But
Absolutely.
I think the problem is obviously there's been a bill since May sitting on their desk, in Senate that they didn't like. And I know that you guys were saying about negotiation that Republicans are crybabies and they want to just stomp their feet if they don't get everything perfect. We all understand how negotiations work. I argue this stuff. We understand that negotiations go both ways. Everybody gets a little bit of give and take. But the problem is and the Democrats are no different. Whenever they have control of the House, they push everything through. Now, it's no secret that these guys always drop bills, 2,000-page bills. They'll drop it 3 days later, like they're trying to do this week. They want to vote on it. They
It's
want an
not. You
immediate
think
vote
the
on something.
bill's
We gotta
2,000
process.
pages? It's 300.
No, this one's not. No, this one's not.
Yeah, it's
This one's not.
absolutely
This one's in the 300s. This one's in the 300s. I do know that. But when we do have these big bills, these budget bills and stuff, that's usually the way it goes.
Oh, hold on, real quick, because I agree with what you're saying. Like there are times that Democrats will just will hold up bills. There's times that Republicans will. This is a bipartisan bill. This isn't something Democrats are trying to force down Republicans' throats and Republicans are saying no. Every Republican that has come out in support of this bill says it's better than where we're at. Every Republican and every Democrat says this is nowhere near a perfect bill, but this will make things better. Everybody agrees on that. The only people opposed to it are MAGA Republicans, and many of them are making the claim now. Mike Johnson, Andy Biggs, Jim Jordan, they're making the claim now that we don't need to change the laws, we just need to enforce the laws. But they're the ones that co-sponsored H.R. 2, which is the bill you referenced that's been sitting on the Senate desk. The problem that we have here is that Republicans are telling you that this is about the bill. They're telling you that this is about 5,000 border crossings, but they're also telling you, if you listen, that this is about Donald Trump and this is about the election. They're only not allowing this to go through because of Donald Trump. It's cut and dry that that's what they're doing. So we could talk all day about the pluses and minuses of the. Well, they've said it. I don't know what to tell you. If you don't believe that, I don't know what you're watching, because Mike Johnson has openly said it. Chip Roy.
They've all said it. Yeah.
Chip Roy literally said, "I will not give Joe Biden a win. He won't vote for this because it would be a win for Joe Biden." There's lots of MAGA Republicans who have said this or alluded to this.
You got to remember, I think, I do agree that some people are following, a lot of it. They're trying to think, okay, we got to keep him happy because they believe that he's going to be president, and it's a lot harder to undo something that 6 months or 10 months before he takes office. In their minds, they're going to have to go backtrack and undo stuff. It's a lot harder to undo.
No,
stuff
I just want to state, as somebody who's been reading this bill, that's not true. There are allowances to change it. Like if the border crisis increases, if the border crisis gets worse, then it's baked in there that they can lower the 5,000 encounters to 4,000 or 3,000 or 2,000. It's not locked in stone. And at any time, especially right now in the 118th Congress, they can they can negotiate again. But yeah, there is allowances to change it if the crisis increases. But again, at these current levels, the border would have been closed every day of the last 4 months. We are saying, the Democrats are saying, this is what you wanted. Here it is.
If that was enforced, though, you can have text in there, but it still would have to be enforced if it got to those numbers.
No, but that's incorrect, because this is another point that MAGA doesn't understand, is that Biden is in the federal courts fighting immigration law. That's the fact. That's why this bill is changing. Well, no, let me just finish. This bill is changing immigration law. The problem is, for instance, Biden is the one, right? Not Trump, not anyone else. Biden is the one that tried to make it illegal to claim asylum here unless you stopped in another country first. But what happened, that was struck down in the Ninth Circuit of Federal Appeals in Pasadena, California. It was struck down by the courts because it violates federal immigration law. What Republicans don't understand, because they don't read, is that Biden is in the courts fighting federal immigration law. And that's why this bill now says in the bill that it can be taken legally into consideration. Could you have stopped at one of these other countries? Like if you're here from Sudan, could you have claimed asylum in Europe? Could you have claimed asylum? Yeah.
Yes,
well,
yes,
no,
yes.
and because you didn't, that can be a barrier to, you will not get approved here. And now that legally will be allowed, whereas before Biden tried to do that. Mayorkas tried to do that,
Felice, I
and
get
the
it.
federal court struck it down.
I get it, but can we sit here with a straight face, or can you all sit here with a straight face and pretend that since Donald Trump's, during his presidency, border crisis was denied? Everybody said it wasn't. And hold on, let me finish. Border crisis was denied. There's no crisis. Up until the last 2 months, there has no crisis at the border. The border czar doesn't even go to the border. She made it close. She went into Texas, which I'm in Texas.
Why does
she
it
gets
matter?
close. but she didn't
Hold
go
on.
down there.
Doing a
Here's why,
photo
because
op
now you're
matters not at
posturing.
all. Doing a
No,
photo
now
op
they're
matters not at
posturing.
all. Doing a photo
Acting
op
like when
matters
we're
not at all.
no, she should have done
Doing
something to address it,
photo
but
op-
everybody
no,
denied it.
standing at
She
the border
denied it.
does not
He denied
change.
it. The
Listen to me.
Democrats denied it.
Standing
Nobody
at
said
the
there was a border
border and
crisis.
taking
Now
a
we're in an
picture.
election year, and
Hold
now
on.
everybody wants to act like
Okay,
you're in a border
stop,
crisis.
Stop. First
It's
of all,
bullshit. Y'all know it.
Hold on.
Then I'm going to quote some things that happened, right? This is the bottom line, and I think
There's no crisis at the border.
Stop talking. Let me finish. Fox said this best, right? And I think that this, I'll say that I like this, and I stole it from someone at Fox. Fox is told by the architects of this legislation the status quo right now, and this is how it's been, right? And this was how it was under Trump as well. We did not change immigration law. Trump failed. Biden's immigration numbers, understand, nobody's deported more people than Joe Biden in the history of this country. He has beaten Trump at that. But this is the point. So the status quo right now is when the border is overwhelmed, release everyone. They say this bill switches that to when the border is overwhelmed, remove everyone. Right? This legislation has provisions in it that will upset border hawks and immigration activists at the same time. Right? Like there's just like me, I'm far left. This is not my thing. But what I am like, I do understand that bipartisan negotiation has to happen. This is a departure from everything
Agreed.
Democrats stand for. This strikes down amnesty. Nobody will get a pass under this whatsoever. This is the toughest border changes that will ever have been made. And you know why I think that? And to address what you were saying is just Biden at the beginning, like you're saying, like we don't have, it's always been, it was the same under Trump. When we don't have resources, just there's nothing we can do. Now it's through executive order. When we don't have the resources, we shut the border down. Like that's the change. And Biden has said, I was wrong, right? The immigration numbers consistently raising, looking at the data, he said something needs to be done. We need to legislate. And why he said that is because he keeps losing in federal court. And so now, and that's why we have to change the law.
Let's be clear on I think that sometimes we get lost with really flowery language. When you say that Democrats said there was no crisis, everything was fine, it's not true. What we've said, and look, my specific tune has changed in the last 4 months. 4 months ago, Felice and I were arguing that at those current numbers, because we saw an expansion, we saw a massive increase as Title 42 ended. And our argument was, hey, let's see what happens when Title 42, once we've seen what happens at the end of Title 42. There was a massive rush as Title 42 ended, and we said, this is not necessarily an immigration issue. This is people who have been waiting until Title 42 ended to come back into the country. So we expected a big surge then. And then ever since then, we've been saying, like, we need to come up with a solution. We need to come up with a solution. Joe Biden on day one, the very first thing he did in office was send out an immigration bill. He, on day one, his first day in office, he recognized that we needed to do something about the borders. And it was rejected, but he tried. You can't say that Democrats pretended nothing was on fire and then, like, all of a sudden decided it was on fire. We just didn't speak as hyperbolically as you guys did. That's it. Like, we've tried to take every step of the way and look at exactly what was happening at the border. That's why Felice and I have spent hours and hours and hours discussing, like, what caused the border crisis? What can we do to prevent this happening again? And at the same time, how do we deal with the border crisis that we're dealing with right now? You have to look at what the cause of it, the effects, and then the solution. And this bill is an attempt at a solution. And I've got a problem with everyday Americans who have spent 3 years complaining about this, seeing something on the table that would make things better, not perfect, but better, and saying, oh, it's not perfect, so we're not going to support it. Well, where's all that talk?
Right, but
do you truly care about it? Do you truly care about it, or do you just care about getting your way? That's
you can say that, but 9 or 10 months ago, HR2 was sent to Senate, and they'd say screw y'all. They did the same thing. They said dead on arrival. We're not. We don't want it.
HR2 didn't have the votes from Republicans either. HR2 was dead in the Senate with Republicans and Democrats.
I will agree. It had some work to do in the Senate. I'll agree with that. On the Republican side, it did have some work to do. But it's both sides do this. They're all swinging their wieners around trying to figure it out.
Yeah. So they throw up HR2. And then they're like, this has work. It's never going to get done in the Senate. So the Senate convenes on a bipartisan, as a bipartisan body. They come up with this deal. They're like, this works for everybody. But Mike Johnson, you sent HR2. You guys sent HR2. You represent the House. You're the Speaker of the House. Come join us for the negotiations. No. Join us for the negotiations. No thanks. No thanks. And then he doesn't join him for the negotiations. And then
Mike Johnson wasn't there yet.
I know, but he's the speaker when they asked for the negotiations, right?
When these bipartisan negotiations
and he voted for
started.
HR2. He wanted that. But then he was the speaker when they were negotiating the Senate deal. Mike Johnson waited like 15 minutes. Last night, the Senate bill came out. 15 minutes later, he's like, this is even worse than I thought. Well, do your fucking job, man. Why weren't you there with the negotiations? Like, why wasn't he?
Well, and Lankford was even nice to him about it. And Lankford said in an interview this morning, being super gracious, he said, actually, at the time that Mike Johnson said that, there's no way he had time to read the text of the bill. Like, giving him an out, because he was still saying the stuff about 5,000, which now if he had read the bill, it's just categorically not true. So, like he
okay,
Lankford's
Felice, I have something I want your opinion on.
Okay, go ahead.
So if we agree now that the border needs addressed, obviously everybody's now on board, because I don't believe that it was, they denied it. They were ignoring it for a long, long time. But if everybody agrees at that now, why do we want, because this is what my side wants. Why can we just not have a standalone bill? Why does it have to be, we've got to push hundreds of millions of dollars of other things that half of this country doesn't want to do right now? We want to help and we want to figure that out. But right now, focus on Americans. Let's do this border bill. Then let's get a package together for the other stuff. We can do it simultaneously if we want.
What do you think?
They held us hostage. They held us hostage for Ukraine money.
Wait, hold on. What do you think would happen if we just stopped defending Ukraine? If we just stopped defending the sovereignty of another country?
Say that. I didn't say that. I don't want to do that.
Hold on. It's related. Because if these countries are allowed to be taken over and decimated, where do you think they're going to go?
Right. And I'll be honest with you.
It's related.
I agree.
They're coming here. It's related.
No, the bills don't have to be related.
The bills don't have to be related. The reason they're
Germany's talking about a draft. We're going to war. Like, do you know Germany is preparing everyone for a draft? Like, we have to go to war if this is what it comes to.
But will you? Okay, well then, will y'all admit the reason they're wanting to package that together is because they know that's the key issue with the right, and they know that that's the way to be able to use that for leverage to siphon as much money as they can for their side, what are their cause that they really want to support.
That's not true. Just as many Senate Republicans want to fund Ukraine. Yeah, it's not a side.
We do want to fund Ukraine. We do want to fund Ukraine, but the bills don't have to be together. They don't have to be together.
Well, they do.
The bills, they have nothing to do with one another.
No, you'll fund Ukraine. You promise.
Well, they do have stuff.
Well, that's what they're doing.
Hold on.
I watched Chuck Schumer make the statement. He said, "You'll get your border when I get Ukraine money."
Hey, look, I've been so quiet, and this is my own platform. So please, when I do take a moment to speak, can you just give me the respect and let me speak? Would that be all right with you? Yeah, like they're related. This whole thing is related, and this is how bills work. Name me a bill that exists that doesn't have something else in it. Right? This is how this works in Congress. It's how it works in the Senate. You negotiate things and you get other things tied into the bill. First of all, I don't see why that's a problem. I don't see why killing two birds with one stone is a problem here. But if you have,
can I answer that?
If you have leverage, and by the way, the leverage that is being withheld is MAGA leverage. MAGA doesn't want anything to be done. MAGA wants Congress to completely shut down. They want
that's
Senate,
false.
I'm not done. They want the Senate to not pass any bills. If it's false, explain to me why this is the least effective Congress in the history of the United States. They don't want to get anything done unless it's their way. So they are the ones that have been holding up the funding to Ukraine. So as part of this negotiation, they say, look, we'll capitulate. We'll drop the amnesty, but you have to work with us on Ukraine because you've been holding up funding on Ukraine. It's how this gets done. This is how negotiations work.
I don't know what your name is, RPT,
It's
RTP. Jay.
Yeah.
So I agree that is how things get done. I 100% agree that, and I think that something will get done. They'll eventually figure it out at some point. But I think the reason we get to the 11th hour of these government shutdowns is because both sides are stubborn. I think that's why we get there. And the reason we get there is because they're so stubborn. They get the 11th hour. Then we end up, like I said earlier, we end up with a $1.6 trillion bill that everybody is supposed to vote on after they get it 3 days or 5 days before they're supposed to vote on it. That's where we end up with court shoved in all these bills on all sides. It's just disgusting. If we did more standalone stuff and then negotiate what needs to be negotiated, I'd rather see leverage in each side with all American stuff. Let's just say,
but would you rather see this bill shut down? I understand what you're saying. I get it. The spending's out of control, and that's not a Republican or a Democrat problem. But we have a legitimate crisis at our border, and this is a legitimate solution to a lot of the problems. And I just don't understand the rhetoric that you're saying right now. I get it. You criticize this bill. That's fine. We can all criticize every bill, and we should know what's in bills and criticize them. But where's the criticism for the MAGA Republicans who are doing nothing about the border? Every one of these motherfuckers is down there with a photo
Texas
op.
is doing
Every
something.
one of them is tweeting about it. Every one of them is saying we have to do something. And then a plan comes forward, and they're the ones holding it up. You should be criticizing them, but you want to criticize everybody else who came together and negotiated a deal, but not MAGA Republicans? You just want to explain to us why MAGA Republicans are upset? I don't fucking care.
Y'all been
if they're
ignoring
upset.
for 2
Fix
years,
the border.
dude.
Do your job. If you're the minority in Congress, if everybody else wants to get something done and you hold everything up because it's not your way, you're a problem. That's not how Congress is supposed to function.
So if one side ignores something for a long time, then at the end they finally realize, oh shit, and now they got to go in and try to fix it, and then they blame us for not taking it.
Joe Biden on day one put out an immigration bill.
Yeah, day
How
one.
can you tell me he ignored it? Mayorkas has been repeatedly shut down in the courts for advocating to do things that MAGA Republicans are advocating for.
It's true.
Like Felice just mentioned, he wanted to make sure that asylum seekers stopped in other countries first. Democrats asked for funding for Mexico because Mexico doesn't have the money to help us, but we could get Mexico to join in this fight with us if we could provide them with some funding. They shut that down. There has been, since Joe Biden took office, Democrats have been proposing something. You said you did nothing, and it is a goddamn lie. It's not true. So adjust your language. We've been trying to do something about it. There have been multiple suggestions. Mayorkas has been sued by Republicans multiple times for trying to do his job. You know what they haven't sued him for? They haven't sued him for not doing his job. They're trying to impeach him for that, and that's going nowhere. But there's no lawsuits about Mayorkas not doing his job. All the lawsuits come when Mayorkas was actually trying to implement changes that would fix the immigration system. And you've had MAGA Republicans running interference this entire time. And why? The answer is so painfully clear. It's Donald Trump. He wants to campaign on this.
I just want to add one more thing too, just about, this is just food for thought about Nancy Pelosi. Like, the truth of the matter is with Nancy Pelosi, you can say that she, included a bunch of things, bipartisan stuff into bills, and the bills were too big to read. But still to this day, the government budget that we're operating under is Nancy Pelosi's, because the Republicans cannot negotiate a new budget. Like, recognize that if you guys are conservatives, fiscal conservatives, and you want to stop the spending, you're still spending exactly as much as Nancy Pelosi allocated, because you guys can't agree on anything, and you're just doing continued resolution after continued resolution. All you've been continuing is that bill you say you're opposed to that they had no time to read.
Hey, and I will give you that. I will say that
Mute you. I don't know who did that, but sorry.
I will say that the Democrats stay together. They do unite, and I'm embarrassed to say, but our Republicans, they do a lot of infighting. There's an extreme right side or whatever, Freedom Caucus and them. They do a lot, and I agree with some of their stuff, but they do a lot of infighting. They can't ever get their heads together and get anything done. I do agree on that. And guys, hey, I appreciate the time. I'm getting summoned. I got to run. I'll listen though. I'll have my earphones in, but I'll listen. But I can't probably talk anymore. I appreciate you guys.
I don't say this often to MAGA, but come back again. Like, you're actually a person.
Yeah, you're reasonable. You're using your brain.
Good talk, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
All right.
One thing I would just add there, he says that Democrats, like, that they stick together. The thing is like, Democrats have just as much disagreement as Republicans do. In fact, probably more disagreement, because it's more of a nuanced discussion. It's not like Christian nationalism versus conservatism. But what they do is they recognize when they're beaten. The criticism of the Squad a few years ago from Jimmy Dore, I think the Young Turks were in on that too when they wanted to do force the vote. The criticism of them was that they didn't just stand there and force the majority to do what they wanted. I've never understood that criticism. I hate that. I think that's a terrible precedent to set.
Well, now we see what happens with that precedent.
You should be aware that if your position is the minority position, and you don't, and you're just blocking votes, like, I mean, that's why we have to end the filibuster. But like, Congress now has become, it's so polarized because there's so much media. These people are on TV every day. They have Twitter accounts. They have podcasts. It's so polarized now that these types of arguments, these types of disagreements, they actually fundraise off of that. So they're making more money. Like, can you guys just, for 1 second, can we think about the fact that we pay members of Congress a lot of money, between $175,000.
A lot of money to us.
Yeah. And what are they doing? They're using that to elevate themselves. They're creating secondary streams of income for podcasts. They're going out, they're getting guest speaker fees. And you know what the people want to hear at these speaking events? They don't want to hear a breakdown of legislation. They don't want to hear about their plans to work with Democrats to figure out a solution to something. No, they want to hear the rhetoric. They want to hear the incendiary stuff. They want to hear about Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden and communist Marxist ideologies, right? So like, they know where their bread is buttered. Their bread is buttered by being fucking lunatics and being obstructionists. And that's where we're at now. I think that if we want a real solution, when you go to Congress, no more. You don't get to run a business. You don't get speaking fees. You don't get to go to
have five podcasts a week.
You don't get to go to Turning Point USA's event and shout out shit. You legislate, and that's it. You fucking legislate, and you can hold town halls. That's it. That's all you should be able to do. We've commercialized being a member of Congress to the point now that until we undo that, like, this is where we're at. This is what we're going to be. And don't think for 1 second that there's not going to be Democrats who see what's happening here and maybe get elected, and they're pretty far left, and they start just obstructing until they get their stuff. Like, don't expect all Democrats to act like the Squad and recognize that they have to do what's best for the country and not just the small group of people that they represent.
Yeah, exactly. And AOC, that is, I think, some of her maturity, like, and my maturity as well, like, and Newt Gingrich's lack of maturity. Like, you see, he was the one that came up with that strategy of like, let's not, if we don't get what we want, like, we tank negotiations, no one moves, like, we grind the Senate or the Congress to a halt. Like, that's Newt Gingrich's baby, and he's still on Fox News to this day, like a couple nights ago, like, cheering it on, saying like, what the problem is better than the problem is better for Republicans than the solution. But if we care, if all these people in Texas, if all these constituents are saying this is what we care about, then this is what Republicans now need to care about, is fixing it.
And look, and is this working, Republicans? Is it working? You sent a convoy. You had all these state governors threaten to send their National Guard. Tell me, what's the National Guard doing down there? Are they fixing this? Has the problem gotten better since Texas deployed their National Guard? Is it getting better? No, it's not. Nothing that Republicans are doing is actually working. It's all rhetoric.
Well, they're baptizing people, not at the border where they are, not at the border. Troughs. They're baptizing people in horse troughs. So there's that. Yeah. I mean, but I thought, like, it's funny how religion always creeps back in with MAGA. You know what I mean? Like, I thought you guys were going to confront people at the border. Turns out you guys aren't even going near the border, and you guys are just having a sermon and playing Jesus music and baptizing people in horse troughs.
It's pretty on brand of Republicans to
while women and children are drowning.
Commentate on immigration from a distance.
That's MAGA Christianity for you.
But it doesn't work. By the way, your messaging doesn't work for Americans. It doesn't. This isn't a winning message for you. The everyday American, the non-MAGA American, if they are explained what happened here, if they say, okay, we had a bill that would fix some of these problems, it would make it better, and Republicans stood against it. Do you think that's a winning message? Do you think the everyday American that is concerned about the border, that's a fence-sitting voter, somebody that's not sure, maybe it's some of those Republican voters that voted for Biden, or just a true moderate that votes independent, do you think that's a winning message? It's not. You're miscalculating.
It's very much not. And we learned that in the South Carolina primary, right? Like, all of this talk, like Dean Phillips saying, like, so many people oppose Joe Biden. And I oppose Dark Brandon's handling of Israel. Just like Jay said, I very much do not think we should be sending money to people who have people trapped in an open air prison and are unaliving them. Like, I don't think that's a vibe in any way. I don't think we should be funding it. But, sorry, just mute. Yeah. Like, anyways, never mind. We can talk about this later. What I want it to be.
It won't let me accept her. I don't know what's going on there. It just shows spinning.
Oh, well, I need to play a clip. Let me play a clip really quick, because I kind of want to get into some of this stuff, because we need to talk about it. Well, first, like, with the just quickly with the Take Back the Border convoy, listen to this clip. And this is just not a one-off. Like, there's two factions of people at the Take Back the Border convoy. There's the ones that are down for, showing up and baptizing people in horse troughs. And then there's the ones that are very confused about what's going on, that were told that there's a crisis in Eagle Pass and they were going to confront it. And this lady, you'll hear her, she basically says, I had no idea we weren't going to the border, so I went to the border, and she's like, I'm shocked by what I saw there, which is that there's not a crisis.
Yeah, I don't remember who there was. He's like kind of a.
I've been talking to these folks who have come from all over.
Here.
I've been talking to these folks who have come from all over Texas, even other parts of the country, to be here. And some of them, even though we are about a half hour from Eagle Pass, have driven down to Eagle Pass to try to actually see what's happening at the border. And I've spoken to a number of people who said that they're a little surprised by what they're seeing here. I want to play a conversation with a woman, Misty. Take a listen.
It's pretty surreal. We actually made it into Eagle Pass and we went and saw Shelby Park. I was able to see some people actually trying to cross and stopped at the wire there. So it's very eye-opening.
And tell me more about eye-opening. Is it what you expected? Is it better? Is it worse?
It's not what I expected, but then again, I don't know what I expected. I can tell you it's not as bad as what I thought. So that's kind of eye-opening in itself too. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of eye-opening in and of itself, because these are people like, for instance, me, who's looking at data and things like that. But these are people who've just been fed the steady stream of Fox News, the pictures of the thousands of people pouring over the border, got down there, went to Eagle Pass and were like, where's the crisis?
Well, yeah, there's been a lot of those videos lately where, what's shown on the news, and I think this is an important thing to remember, is that anytime there's something about war, or if there's something about violence, like, the news isn't going to show you the average stuff, right? They're not going to show you like the median stuff. They're going to show you the stuff that grabs your attention, the stuff that gives you an emotional, a visceral response, so that you'll keep watching, right? So I think that everybody, they're so surprised that this isn't what they thought because of what they've seen on TV. And let's be honest about all of us. Like, I haven't been down. Last time I was at the border was like 7 months ago, but it was at a border. It was at a border crossing that like is a port that it looked about the same. It didn't look any worse or better than normal. But these people are mostly being funneled into small places, and that's when you see these massive crowds. I think people think if they go to the border, there's just going to be crowds lining up on the other end, like, let us in, and that's just it's not the case. And I think that these politicians that go down to the border and they stand only in front of these large crowds, like, why are they doing it? Why? First of all, what are they? Ask yourself, what are they doing at the border?
Well, that's the thing that Peace Through Strict, like, the main thing that he said that I took issue with was just the border czar's never been to the border. The learning about the border doesn't require standing at the border. Like, same with you. I've been to the border within the last year, but standing at the border, you can't see what's going on along the border. And like, the only way to understand the situation is look at data month over month and look at the changes and try to forecast things. That's what intelligent people are doing, not fear mongering, baptizing people in horse troughs. And here's another funny story. I can't play the clip because it just will sound like complete chaos. But while the Take Back the Border convoy was trying to have this like prayer service, so they're baptizing people in horse troughs, another faction showed up of people who were there to scream that they hate homosexuals. and then the border convoy people start doing battle with the people that hate the homosexuals and are yelling like Jesus doesn't like homosexuals and stuff, and they're trying to push those people out of their Take Back the Border encampment and off the ranch, and those people are screaming at the gateway to the ranch.
I didn't see this one. What? I'll look at it after.
No, I don't even know if I put it in the outline because you can't hear it. Like, it's not a good clip to play. But yeah,
okay.
I'll send it.
Send it to you. I haven't seen that one.
It probably is in the. It's well. At first, I could not figure out what was going on. It's just like two warring factions, and then I realized they're both Republicans. I thought I was just it's two Republican groups, like a hate group, tried to show up and like get their message in there. And to the Take Back the Border convoy's credit, they were like, get out of here, and like push them out of the gates of the ranch. And so they're standing like outside. And they're like, we don't want you here. Like, this is not the message we want broadcast. So, of course, left-wing media broadcasted it.
Let's go through this section here. Just, I want to really crystallize how dishonest Mike Johnson is being. Like, maybe we start with, I guess that starts right at 2, probably, right?
Yeah, well, these are just, we can go through. These are just the things I put up. But yeah, like, and I've kind of been going over some of the stuff. But yeah, so there's a great Midas Touch article about that came out. Senator Langford, it's about Senator Langford. Speaker Johnson refused to negotiate with Senate because Mike Johnson was all over Meet the Press and any sort of place that would have him on yesterday saying, well, he hadn't clearly read the bill of the text because he just kept lying or just saying things he had no idea about. But the main lie was that he had never been invited to be involved in the negotiations in the first place. And then the second biggest lie is what MAGA's trying to push, that the 5,000, like we let 5,000 in a day, which Trump was letting 10,000, however many in a day.
There wasn't a number. There was no number.
Yeah.
Yeah. We went, I just wanted to play, was it this one? Let's see.
I have some.
All right. So now here's, After Langford went on and said that he was in contact with Mike Johnson, he offered him to be part of the negotiations. He offered to update him. He was giving him updates. Here's Mike Johnson, and just again, like, why is he positioning it this way? I think it's really important to ask why Mike Johnson and Senator Langford seem to have such different stories. One of them has a reason to not tell the truth, I'm assuming, right? So let's try and see if we can figure that out. Play this one. This is number. Shit, I forgot what number this was.
I have it if you want me to play.
I've got it. I just wanted to tell Jen what number. It's the Meet the Press clip, like 3 or 4.
Were you offered a briefing, Mr. Speaker?
What we're hearing right now is not.
But were you offered a briefing?
No, I have not been. No, I've had individual senators call and give me tips and offered things that are going on in the room, but we've not been a part of that negotiation, and I have been.
The question was, did he get a briefing? And then he just says, yeah, a couple senators called me and briefed me. That's what a brief is. Give me tips and offered things that are going on in the room. But then again, let's just hear that again.
I have not been. No, I've had individual senators call and give me tips and offered things that are going on in the room, but we've not been a part of that negotiation, and I have been absolutely clear from day one, since literally the next morning after been handed the gavel in late October, what the functional equivalents of H.R. 2, what those are, and why that was necessary to solve the problem. I took 64 House Republicans to the border in January. We heard from the people in charge, the border patrol agents, the people there, and they said, these are the things that you must do to stem the flow. And the reason we have the biggest immigration catastrophe, border catastrophe in U.S. history is because President Biden took these actions. I can name them for you specifically.
Yeah. By the way, what are those specific things that the Border Patrol asked for? I'd assume that Border Patrol asked for.
Well, I'll tell you what he said.
More Border Patrol agents.
I have the clip.
I assume Border Patrol. Well, whatever he said, I assume that Border Patrol didn't say, hey, if you have a hard cutoff, if you give us more resources for Border Patrol, and if you give us more judges to expedite these processes, that won't help. Do you think?
Well,
Border
no.
Patrol
What he said. Though this is what happened. Like, if you remember that Eagle Pass press conference, the narrative, which has since been proven not true, shocker, is that he talked to unnamed MAGA leading border agents who told him that the crisis is too far gone, and how the Congress, there's nothing they can do. Even the only people that can change the federal immigration laws. So that's why I know this is a lie. Is the House, but he said that he was told by Border Patrol agents that it's beyond Congress now and only executive orders can stop this. Because he was trying to say, Donald Trump was telling him, you don't do anything. The House isn't going to do or pass anything, and I don't want the Senate to either. And so he was saying, Biden could do this all with executive order, which we learned from Trump himself is not true, because executive orders are always adjudicated in court, and the problem is always federal immigration law. And that's what Biden came up against too, and that's what is being addressed in this bill. And along with the funding, Biden, like you said, asked for on day one. That's what the funding is.
I agree. Let me just address something in the comments. Look, Cosmic Pizza, it was, I don't know what happened when I tried to bring you up. It didn't work. It was just spinning. I dropped it back down, but we are looking for opposition. We don't generally bring up friendlies. I know I brought you up in the past, and so I know that's why it's confusing. To everybody in the chat, like, be kind to Cosmic Pizza. She does it, like, I've brought her up before. This has been a platform where she's been able to say things. We like her. We're just not taking opposition right now. So I apologize. That's on me. That's not on Jen. It's not on the mods. Jen is constantly dealing with a lot of annoying people. Like when you're talking about who's in the box, Jen's normally dealing with somebody who's being obnoxious. So I get it, but she has a lot to do. She's not only recording this at the same time, she's keeping track of the Discord, and she's handling guest requests. So let's everybody be cool. Like, we're all on the same team. We don't need to go after each other. Causing Pizza, I love you. Today, I'm not doing friendlies. I will on the weekends. I'm going to try and do more shows like we did this last weekend, where we'll have more friendlies. It'll be a more open discussion. But guys, let's all just remember we're on the same side here, and we're just talking about the border crisis. A lot of people have things to say. I understand it can be very frustrating sitting in the comments and feeling like we're missing something. That's why we have so many mods. If you have something you feel like we're missing, at one of the mods can get that message to us. But the one thing we want to make sure is that Felice spends hours and hours and hours building out this outline, and we want to make sure we get through all the stories that we prepared, and that's difficult to do if we're always bringing up friendlies. So that's the only reason. But let's just be nice to each other, guys. Let's all be nice. Causing Pizza, we love you. Jen, obviously, we love you. Let's everybody love everybody, and close the northern border.
Yeah, the geese are flying in here. Where are the nets? We got to get that Iron Dome Trump said he's going to build over America. That will shoot the geese down. So, yeah,
that's right.
Any day now. Now, that's coming. Yeah, and also, we're participating in CoinCot. Obviously, gifts aren't on. Please, and if you guys could be mindful, if you guys could tap the screen throughout the live, that would be great, because that's the only way we'll get to the For You page and get new Republicans, hopefully, in here that want to tell us their thoughts on the border bill. I saw Big Block in here earlier. That was who I messaged Jay and asked if he wanted to talk about the
You're right
border.
about that.
So so that's, but yeah, again, if you guys want to donate to us, use one of these two, Venmo or Cash App, and we will split it at the end. So again, now what were we talking about? Oh, Dan.
Have we talked about the border yet?
Yeah, I know. God, it's forever.
Yeah, go to Dan Crenshaw. That was Dan Crenshaw is growing on me a little bit.
Well, no, Dan Crenshaw's always been like this. I just want to say, like, this is who Dan Crenshaw is. Like, his redeeming quality is that he's not bullied by people. And sometimes, like, his takes are bad. Because this is what I'm saying. Don't get your hopes up. That's what my Dan Crenshaw advice is. Like, there will be issues. The border is one where he's just like, these are the facts. Like, I'm supposed to be working for my constituents. Like, this good deal is good for people in Texas who are feeling this surge over the border, and I'm going to, like, defend my constituents. But there will be other issues where you know, like protecting insider trading for Congress members, that you'll be like, oh, Dan Crenshaw, what the...
That's what sucks about, like, the Republicans that I feel like we need to give them praise at times, is that Dan Crenshaw has said some things where I'm like, you're not that dumb. You can't possibly have that opinion. But it turns out he does have that opinion sometimes. And Dan Crenshaw has shown time and time again that he'll go against his party when he legitimately believes it's the right thing to do. And at the very least, like, we just need more Dan Crenshaws. We need more people that we disagree with but can, like, recognize reality. And that's the real problem we have in the Republican Party, is that there are a lot of them there's some that don't recognize reality, and there are others who see the choice between reality and losing power, and they choose not losing power, so they go with the lunatics. Like, they understand the power of Donald Trump, and so they're just like, I'll just sound stupid, I don't really care. And Dan Crenshaw does at least appear to be a person.
Well, he's like a Liz Cheney Republican, who's like a Dick Cheney Republican, which was basically he was an arms dealer, vice president, but whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, so Dan Crenshaw's just like a regular Republican, but understands the line of the line of insanity. But anyways, this is what he said. This is what he tweeted. It's important to address some of the more bizarre concerns right away. Why do we need new laws? Isn't current law enough? That is the line of Mike Johnson. Remember I told you, Mike Johnson said, federal immigration law is fine the way it is. Yeah, because Trump used those laws, Biden used those laws, and we know now in the federal immigration courts, well, I do because I researched the cases, that federal immigration law has to be changed. But anyway, so he said...
Wait, but also that same Mike Johnson, we just played a clip of him talking about how they should pass H.R. 2. So if they need to pass H.R. 2, but we have everything we need... he's literally speaking out of both sides of his mouth, and that's Republicans don't care.
What Dan Crenshaw is saying, yeah. So he said, "Why do we need new laws? Isn't current law enough?" And he said, "Obviously, we do need new laws. That's why Republicans passed H.R. 2, which was mostly new immigration law. Those advocating for H.R. 2 can't also claim we don't need new laws. This bill isn't H.R. 2, but my simple standard will be: does it decrease illegal immigration or not? And if we didn't need new laws, why was immigration so out of control even when Trump was president?" Like, that's what you guys are not getting. Trump deported less people than Biden. He was worse at this. That's what Dan Crenshaw is saying, because he called President Trump out by name. Why, or former President Donald Trump out by name, right? Like, and even said when Trump was president, which would denote that he knows he's not president now.
The only
which
way
is a good sign. Our laws have too many loopholes. Let me just finish the last line. Our laws have too many loopholes. Trump had to make an international agreement with Mexico to get the border under control. That's how Trump got the border under control, with working with Mexico, which Biden asked on day one for money to do, because they're like, hey, we don't have the money, we'll work with you. And we've been holding up that money. What Trump did is what we're trying to continue to do.
The only way we can really judge Trump is by his numbers, right? By what he did when he was the executive. Yeah. And we know that he, not just total numbers, but by percentage, he did a worse job deporting people who shouldn't be here. Joe Biden, with a much larger crisis and a Congress that is fighting him every step of the way, has done a better job than Donald Trump did. So I cannot for the life of me understand the people that are like, all we need is Trump back. No, it's worse. It's worse. Like his record is worse than Joe Biden's. We would have a worse problem if he governed the way that he governed when he was president. I do not understand why Republicans still keep thinking that this guy is a savior, that this guy is good at his job. If you're upset with Joe
Brandon
Biden,
is your daddy.
Yeah, fine. If you don't think Joe Biden's the best person to handle this, fine. We can probably agree on that. But like, you can't then say like the person who was worse is the better option.
Why do you say that? He's the best, but he's done it the best so far by their standards. By Republicans' own standards, the best person who's done the job so far is Dark Brandon.
So again, it's selective outrage, it's uninformed outrage, and it's just more evidence that that this entire party is just run on emotion, and the emotion that seems to work is rage.
Also because Donald Trump says, just elect me and everything will be fine. That's how you know this is a cult. Because every fact, he's worse on every metric. Every metric, Biden has beat him. And they're not looking for what actually, by their own metrics that they're measuring, like Biden is better. And they're still like, nope, let's elect this guy that paints himself orange every morning. Like,
I'm going to start doing that, by the way, one of these days.
Because maybe they'll listen to you. If you showed up more orange and your face was melting off every morning, then maybe you'd get some respect around here.
Well, I've been thinking about it a lot, just because
changing colors.
I'm surprised when I see like my non-political friends start repeating like right-wing rhetoric, and I've just thought a lot about it. Is that most people think about your friend group, think about when you get together with friends, and don't think about the political conversations that you've had. Like, people like drama, people like complaining, people like pointing out other people who are bad at their jobs. And so Congress and the United States government, like, that's an easy thing to point to. It's easy to look at the border and be like, oh, Joe Biden, he's president, this is happening at the border, Joe Biden. That's easy. Everybody can do that. But that analysis is futile. It's worthless. It does nothing for us. Like, it doesn't tell us why. And that's my problem, I think, with maybe most of these MAGAs. Is like, have you heard a single MAGA Republican or Donald Trump try and explain why this happened? Outside of saying open borders, Joe Biden in great replacement theory, like, they will jump over every piece of evidence that could give them clues as to what's happening at our southern border, just so they can get to great replacement theory. It's like they always want to believe the least possible excuse. Like, it's everything, every single issue. It has to be deep state. It has to be a conspiracy. And it's just lazy. It's lazy thinking, because if you can speculate on that rather than read something, then if you wind up being wrong, you can be like, well, it seemed like it. I mean, they were hiding the evidence. But all you have to do is just read. It takes just a few minutes of reading. And if you don't want to read, shut the fuck up and listen to people who are reading. And ask yourself, did this person read? And if they did read, listen to them. If they didn't, don't listen to them.
Well, maybe it gives us hope. Well, probably not. But, like, it's interesting because because my brain only works logically. So even if these people really did believe the great replacement theory and they're convinced that that's what's going on, then still you should vote for Joe Biden, because he's the one who's deporting the most people, who's deterring this problem the best by percentage.
That's
so
right.
Why it makes no decisions you guys make any sense, no matter how you look at it, except for I'm in a cult and this guy that paints himself orange committed, has 4 indictments, 91 felonies, and we need to help him out. Like, the only thing is to help Donald Trump avoid his crimes. That's the only thing.
We won't do anything about the border, but we'll spend our entire time defending one man from criminal charges. Like, you want to talk about Congress not doing anything or doing the least effective thing. Congress is not fixing the border because Donald Trump is under indictments. That's what's going on right now. That there's so much negative news about Donald Trump that the only win he possibly has is crying about the border. So MAGA and MAGA people in Congress, they are literally taking ignoring the problems that they can fix and focusing on things that they cannot fix, things that they have no control over. They have no control over judges
or a jury of our peers.
Yeah, or evidence, and they want to and they can't. So they're willing to forego the safety of our country, what's best for our country, just so that they can continue to defend Donald Trump, so they can continue to fundraise.
Yeah. And the more outrage. And think about it. Donald Trump is the one who's been fundraising off the border. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, this is her thing. She has been fundraising off the border, the Godaway numbers. And now you're telling me, when you guys, all your fears, the replacement theory, the brown people south of the border are coming to take your jobs, there is an actual solution on the table that would have had this border closed for 4 months. And all of a sudden, it doesn't matter anymore. That has to strike you as a little bit strange.
Yeah. All right. Should we move on from the border?
Well, let's, I wanted to talk about this, just the coming up week, because this is good to know, just what to expect during a major week for Donald Trump's legal future. So I just want to go over what's going on this week so everyone can have a heads up. So the first thing is the Trump versus Anderson. That's the Supreme Court case, right? So it's oral arguments. It's the Colorado Supreme Court's 4-3 decision to remove Donald Trump from the presidential ballot, violating the 14th Amendment's insurrection clause. So they are going to have oral arguments on Thursday, February 8th. So that will be,
Do you know if that'll be televised? I assume not, right?
I doubt, no.
Usually it's not with the Supreme Court.
Sometimes you get audio from the Supreme Court, but they never televise. I don't know though. I don't know. But yeah, I've definitely had audio of Ketanji Brown Jackson's arguments, but I've never had the pleasure of seeing her face while she's doing it.
I don't know I saw the video from the original Colorado case, and I assume these are the same attorneys. I don't know what different questions the Supreme Court is going to ask. That was a really, really thorough discussion in Colorado. I don't know what what they can really ask here. And the ruling is going to be tricky because they can't really rule on the finding of fact, right? Like the finding of fact.
Well, this is just arguments.
Is that he engaged in insurrection.
Yeah, they're just going to ask questions.
Right, but that's what they're going to argue.
But in the ruling, they could like overrule the finding of fact in the Colorado Supreme Court case.
But that's the thing. Like, I don't understand what other ruling they could have. It seems to me, and I'm not an attorney, and maybe you've heard a different answer to this, but it seems to me if you can't overrule the finding of fact, then you have to find in Colorado's favor, right? If they agree.
Well, if they're dissenting to this, it will be to the finding of fact that an insurrection was committed in the first place. Yeah.
What's the other argument?
I don't
know what Trump's attorneys are going to argue here. They have to just argue
presidential immunity.
Yeah, please let it. That'd be great. Let's see it.
Probably
get a Supreme Court decision on this. That'd be terrific.
Well, they were arguing against president. I mean, they weren't arguing it before. Like, I was just kidding about that. But I mean, he has some good lawyers in this case. I mean, better than some we've seen in other cases. And yeah, like, I don't know what they would argue except for to just say that he didn't commit an insurrection or, like something like presidential immunity, like somehow he's immune from having done it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know it'll be interesting to figure out how they've adjusted their arguments since their last one, because their arguments got shut down twice and they were on constitutional grounds. I remember Trump's attorney talking specifically about, like, in the second case, saying that he was wrong. Like, one of his arguments he was wrong about, and then he was. I got to find the clip. I can't even remember what the argument was, but he had reversed. I just don't know. After listening to it, and again, I'm not a constitutional lawyer, so I'm sure they've got a plan. But I was trying to brainstorm, like, what do I think they possibly could argue? I can't come up with what their argument might be.
Yeah,
that's where we need barrister.
Well, I mean, that's exactly what he talked about when he was up here with us. We talked about that. Like, will they change the finding of fact? Because the finding of fact is that there was an insurrection, but so, I mean, that's what it comes down to. But anyway, so on Thursday, in my experience from listening to Supreme Court oral arguments, like any news station will have it, but it's just going to be audio.
Okay. Should we talk about...
Well, wait, there's more. Wait, hold on. I just need to say a couple more things. The other things going on. So if you are up on the Judge Engren case, the Letitia James, yeah, he said that by the end of January, he would probably rule. And then last week he pushed it out. So best assumption is we should hear that ruling sometime this week. In terms of, he was already found partially liable, but like what the damages are and like the ruling on the rest of those points they were arguing. And then the last thing I wanted to say, the United States versus Trump case, the DC Circuit is expected to release an opinion. Okay, so they heard oral arguments in the presidential immunity claim, and they're expected to release an opinion, I believe, in Jack Smith's criminal prosecution of Donald Trump. Yeah, of absolutely, if he's immune from criminal prosecution. So we should also hear something from them.
That ruling is taking forever.
Yeah, they're slow playing it for sure.
Where are we at? Are we gonna? Because it's supposed to, like, it originally was slated for March 4th. They scrapped that, right?
They officially. Well, yeah, Chutkan just announced that because they're waiting on this. The case cannot proceed until the presidential immunity ruling is ruled upon. Like, essentially, like, that's the point. And it will probably go to the Supreme Court, like, even after this. But we have to wait for the opinion of the Federal Appeals Court. That's step one. And we're looking for that sometime as soon as this week.
Yeah,
but yeah, Chutkan has taken, like, the March 4th start date for this trial has been taken off the docket, and that clears the way. That's another part of the outline. So that clears the way. The runt of the criminal prosecutions, Alvin Bragg's case is slating in Stormy We Trust. It's slated to be the first case that's actually tried against Donald Trump was tried for.
It's pretty wild at this point to think that it takes days to get a decision on, does the president have the ability to commit any crimes he wants? Like, that's, if you think, just stop and think about that. we are waiting on a ruling that says the president can do whatever he wants. And you have Republicans in this country begging for that to be true. Just begging for that to be true. And then begging for the Supreme Court to uphold that. That's a wild place we've gotten to in this country, where we legitimately have people arguing and a court that can't seem to come to a quick conclusion on, can the president do whatever the fuck they want? That should be an easy answer.
Yeah, it really should. And yeah, I mean, if it should be an easy answer. Oh, sorry. I was just looking. Legally Mormon was just texting me. So,
well, while you're reading that, I'd like to point out that Elon Musk is having a total normal, just regular, everyday American week. Nothing weird has come out about Elon Musk at all this week. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on which thing you're referring to.
After Delaware ruled that. By the way, I didn't know this. The guy that brought the lawsuit against Elon Musk in Delaware is a shareholder that owns 9 shares, right? Just 9 shares, which at the time I think was valued over like maybe a couple $1,000s or somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000. I can't remember the exact number. But in looking more and more into this case, essentially what they've said, like this looked like Elon basically telling the Tesla board, hey, I'm going to focus on other stuff unless you give me a bunch more shares. But the chair or the board has a fiduciary responsibility to the other shareholders. So by granting Elon these additional shares, it dilutes everybody else's shares. So in order to do that, and in order to maintain your fiduciary responsibility to your shareholders, you have to be able to justify why those shares were given. And this seems to be a pretty cut and dry case. Like it didn't seem like there was much of a defense here. And it goes to show how Elon is running Tesla. He's running Tesla the same way Trump wants to run our country. Yeah. He surrounds himself with sycophants who think he can do no wrong. So that was how his week started. Then it got better. Do you want to talk about this story about Larry Ellison?
No, you can talk about it.
Okay. Is it Ellison or Ellison?
Ellison.
I think it's Ellison.
It's definitely Ellison.
Okay, so Larry Ellison, who I believe he owns his own island, doesn't he? Didn't he buy one of the Hawaiian Islands? I might be wrong about that.
No, I think he did.
Yeah, see, he invited Elon Musk to go spend time on his Hawaiian island to, in his words, dry out from various substances, including LSD, snow, X, ketamine, and that's from the Wall Street Journal. If you wonder why it seems that Elon Musk has gotten so extreme in the last 2 years, as far as like his public image and the things he publicly says, and now advocating every day for the replacement theory, that this is a great replacement theory by Joe Biden, just know that those closest to him, those who invested in him, Larry Ellison, are saying, Elon, it's time to get off the substances. And Elon declined, and now we see Elon in his current form.
Yeah, he's an absolute mess.
Some of the claims here at a party in the Hollywood Hills around the time of Ellison's suggestion, the report added one person who attended an event with Musk said he drank X in liquid form from a water bottle after having his personal security clear the floor for privacy. The journal reported the volume of Musk's use had contributed to a culture of peer pressure among Musk's friends and board directors of his various companies that created an expectation for them to also use alongside him to maintain the social status gained by being close to the billionaire. Despite proclaiming that he doesn't like doing illegal drogas, Musk's drogas use has previously put him in his companies on notice. You have obviously the Joe Rogan interview where he smoked on a Joe Rogan podcast, but he also said on Twitter that he had a prescription for ketamine, which research has suggested can be used to treat depression.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how he started defending this. Like, this is not a new thing in the tech industry. Like, it's just rumored. Like, it started with microdosing. Like, that's always been his defense about it, is that he's just microdosing. You could be the judge if that sounds like microdosing. I don't know.
Yeah. Now, Musk has also claimed that he suffers from bipolar disorder, these types of substances have been shown to cause problems, even lead to psychosis when somebody has bipolar disorder. I know that there's been a lot of recent information that's come out about people who have bipolar disorder who use medical MMJ, and the possibility of that leading to like a psychosis. And so if somebody has bipolar and they're using these, like, that may explain some of the outrageous things we've seen from Elon Musk recently. And again, let's just remember, he didn't become a right-wing hero until he became crazy. Like Elon Musk, the guy who tried to play it sane, everybody was kind of cool with him. He didn't become a right-wing, and right-wingers didn't really like him because the whole electric car thing and the Green New Deal, like, he was just part of that. But then as soon as he started being crazy and acting up and started talking about replacement theories, suddenly he's a right-wing hero.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where he's finding acceptance. Like, let's be honest. But also, I think it's closer to the rhetoric that goes on in South America. Like, South Africa. Like, if you know anything about South African politics, a lot of the stuff that is spewed here, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know anything about South African.
Oh, well, just it's a very conservative. I mean, apartheid is all you need to know. This is something that happened just a few years ago. Like, so, you know, like, they're not so far out from, like, a major civil rights movement. Like, it's there's some very disturbing views in that country related to race.
Yeah, more Elon news. Tesla has been surpassed as the number one maker of electric vehicles. I think it's BYD is the company. Have you seen their cars? The BYD?
Well, is that apparent?
BYD.
Oh, BYD.
It's they are out of China.
No, that's not surprising.
Yeah, but if you look at their cars, their design is much better. They seem to have better ratings for virtually everything, and they are now the number one creator of electric vehicles. I expect we'll see these sometimes in the United States, but it goes to show that Elon is slipping. Did you see the stuff happening in Chicago this weekend with Teslas?
No, what's happening in Chicago?
Okay. So here's a news from Fox 32 Chicago, just explaining what's happening in Chicago right now with Teslas. Yes.
Okay, Willie, thank you. That cold is also causing some big-time headaches for Chicago area owners of electric vehicles.
Yes, I never thought we'd say this, but it's true. As Dane Placco reports, the low temperatures have caused some headaches for owners looking to charge their cars.
Electric cars may be the way of the future, but it's clear there are some problems when it comes to charging them in Chicago's deep freeze.
Oh, we got a bunch of dead robots out here.
Dead robots. Dead Teslas packed the parking lot at this Tesla supercharging station in Oak Brook, a scene mirrored in other supercharging stations around the Chicago area.
Yeah, this is crazy. It's a disaster, seriously.
With temperatures falling into the negative double digits, these charging ports have stopped charging, leaving many Tesla owners stranded here in long lines since Sunday.
Nothing, no juice, it's still on 0%. And this is like 3 hours this morning being out here, after being out here 8 hours yesterday.
So I won't go too much more into that, but people are stranded. They don't have their cars. Many of them have been taking shifts because these cars are just stuck in the parking lot. They can't go anywhere, and you'll see people pushing cars into charging stations. But they'll take shifts watching the cars because they can't drive, but they don't want their cars just sitting in like an open parking lot. Somebody forgot to check the charging stations and see how they work when it's cold.
I mean, negative. Yeah.
Now, and I'm not trying to like dump on Tesla, and I'm not trying to dump on
because I'm just gonna say, like, there's a certain amount of negative degrees where nothing functions. Cell phones stop functioning. Like, I mean, there's a certain amount of cold where things are no longer functioning. But I guess, in the plans, they need to keep them.
Well, what I will point out is that Elon Musk since he has kind of taken this journey away from Tesla, since you have the reported drug abuse, he's all day on Twitter tweeting about this shit. You also have SpaceX. It seems that Tesla, who built their board, built basically everything around do what Elon Musk says. Like, he's clearly struggling. Tesla has real problems, and Elon doesn't seem to want to fix those problems. He just wants more control over Tesla, and that's what he's blaming. Every time there's a problem at Tesla now, he's doing the Trump thing where all you need to do is give me more authority. I'll fix it. I and I alone can fix this. And I just think that I said this to somebody the other day. I don't remember who it was on this live, that I think Tesla will lose its grip for the number one electric auto manufacturer.
Say it with a Z.
Because I don't like saying Tesla.
Okay, but that was his name. It's named after Nikola Tesla.
Yeah, I don't like saying S's. I don't like hard S's.
Oh,
I feel like
you don't like
It's me, yeah. I'd say Tesla because it's easier to say.
I was like, wait, what?
I feel like, because I can hear myself in the mic, and S, I hear that and it drives me nuts, so I say Tesla.
Makes sense.
And when I buy it, I'm going to remove the S and put a Z on it. Maybe 3 Z's, yeah.
Okay. Well, so anyways, there's a couple of things I wanted to just point out, or we can just go down the outline list. But the superintendent of public instruction of Oklahoma has lost his mind. I just need to. We don't need to go through all of these recordings, because I recorded an interview he did that was so vile. Like, I can't even. This is the same guy that got PragerU approved to play for children in school, and the same guy who I told you, and I don't know if you guys believe me or not, but that's what this is about, that I heard him in his car, like, screaming that he was doing secret investigations, and he set up a whistleblower system so that if anyone knew of any lesbians or gay teachers or people who dressed in drag that were moonlighting as teachers, as he put it, that he set up a whistleblower system so that they could be found out. Well, it finally happened. Like, he stalked and harassed a teacher literally into quitting, which is vile, and he's insane. And I just wanted to play a clip of some of the stuff he was saying. This is the interview where he found out that there was a principal in Oklahoma who on the weekends, participated in drag competitions. And so then he started a campaign to stalk and harass this man until that this principal quit, which he did over the weekend. So that's why I'm playing this now.
Outrageous to have a drag queen running a school, here in Oklahoma. That doesn't line up with Oklahoma values. I hear from parents every day that are concerned with this woke left-wing indoctrination in our schools, this gender theory that continues to be thrust upon our kids. It's completely inappropriate, should never have happened.
So none of what he's saying is true. Just to be clear, nothing's being forced on anyone. This man set up a whistleblower system to, if anyone had heard that any teachers frequented gay bars, places where there's drag shows or whatever, to turn people in, which is completely, in your spare time, you're allowed to be at drag shows, participate in drag shows, whatever. But anyways,
this is pretty. Like, just think of this on any level. Do you think it is okay to tell teachers, principals, what they're allowed to do outside of school? Do you think that that's okay? Like, that's crazy.
Is that big government or is that small government? Republicans, we can learn this together, right?
Yeah,
I'm more concerned, like, under that logic, anyone that drinks outside of work, right? That's more concerning. Let's root out, like, do you understand how dangerous this is? Anything that you deem as, like, adverse behavior then can get you fired from your job. Is that the direction we're going in now?
Is this freedom or Christo-fascism?
You could tell. You could tell us. Listen to this guy.
We have got to continue to ensure that our kids are with adults that are pushing the basics, reading, writing, arithmetic, and American history, not pushing any gender ideology on our kids. I think that the school should immediately take action. I called for that yesterday, that this individual should not be employed by the school district. This individual is not fit to lead a school district. This absolutely should not be happening. We need to be reassuring parents that we are keeping their kids in an educational environment to promote learning, to promote educational value, not injecting what we've seen the left go to the craziest extremes to inject into our classrooms.
What this man does on his weekends for fun is not injecting anything into the classroom. It doesn't change approved curriculum. This is an absolute witch hunt. And this is like exactly someone in the comments said, well, what happens if someone gets pregnant outside of wedlock? That's what we're heading to. This place has PragerU, where PragerU shames women who have sex outside of wedlock, where Dennis Prager himself, I have watched episodes of PragerU where he says that women make too many essay claims and they actually really like it. This is stuff this man is saying.
Look, this is we've talked about it before, like the Republicans were smart. They're ahead of the Democrats here, where they infiltrated local governments with crazies, right? With the craziest among us. That's the people that are running for school boards. That's the people that are running for city councils. And it's up to us. Like, I don't think we can rely on those who want to be in public service being good people anymore. We can't do that.
Yeah,
this is something we actively have to combat.
This
like
guy's nuts.
If you're in Oklahoma and you have children and your main focus is not making sure that we replace people like Ryan Walters, I don't know. I don't know what could be more important. It's getting on school boards, making sure that this type of, discrimination, it doesn't happen anymore. We've got.
This is workplace discrimination. This is 100%. Like lawsuit. Yeah, this. This
you can't fire somebody for this.
We're gonna bankrupt. Yeah, we're gonna bankrupt our Department of Education, like paying out lawsuits, basically.
Like, there should be lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit right now being filed,
being brought in Oklahoma. Let's bankrupt the Oklahoma state government so they can learn a lesson. Because these are like labor laws. You can't do this. Like, he's absolutely out of his mind. And that teacher resigned like under duress. Like, you know, like he resigned because he's being stalked and harassed.
And when they say they were at a drag queen, and then they say that did this person also previously face child porn charges?
Oh, I don't know.
What was the teacher's name? Do you know, or the superintendent?
Hold on, I have the article.
Or principal, excuse me.
Hold on, let me. I thought I had the article open. 1 second. I'm pretty sure I have it open just on a different browser. Okay. Yeah, Oklahoma drag queen elementary school principal resigns amid outrage. Shane Murnan, Murnan.
I see a lot of people reported that he had faced charges. Okay, so shortly after his hiring, the Western Heights School District announced it was aware of previous charges that were dismissed more than 20 years ago. Though the district did not explain the nature of Murnan's charges, users on social media began sharing local reports of an individual with the same name accused of looking at images of children while teaching 5th grade at another Oklahoma elementary school. This is weird how they're reporting this.
Yeah,
they're
but
not reporting it saying it's him. Did you see how they did?
Yeah, because
reports of an individual with the same name. They seem like they're going out of their way to be obtuse here.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting. And I saw you see the video. Like, this is a very non-sexual drag queen story hour. By the way, that's
what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, I don't want to fill in, but research I did. Like, I mean, people are just saying this is just a witch hunt. Like, this man, right? Like, dressed up, read stories to kids, whatever, and then people have a problem with that. But I don't know. That's my thing. This is all very vague. But what I do know is this guy just recently resigned, and that, like we said, you can't hire and fire people like what this guy did based on him being, whether or not he dresses up and reads children's stories.
I mean, it looks like just from the superintendent when he was hired that these charges were like, it does look like that he was the one that was charged. According to the news report, those charges were dismissed by the court, and the record of the charges was also expunged. They're not likely going to expunge your records if you, there's likely, I don't want to speak to it. Like, I can't say if he's guilty or innocent, but if the charges were expunged, and then, of course, who brings it to light? The libs of TikTok. Shocker there. They will find anything. All right. Disgusting stuff there by our Republican friends there. This Christo-fascism is becoming far too mainstream. But I also think it's why Republicans are losing. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Like it's disgusting what they're doing. It also is causing more and more people to have their eyes opened to who the Republican Party is. So I guess there's a silver lining. Let's call it that. Let's call it a silver lining.
Oh, well, that explains, too, why he never in that, because that video of that guy, the superintendent of public instruction, like goes on and on and on, but never once mentions anything about those charges. And that's why, because they're expunged and they can't, and he would be committing defamation. Like that's.
And we know you can be charged for
but that
now.
does explain it. Like that explains a lot about the video because it's like 7 minutes of nothing about that. Anyways. Let's move on from there. Like we can talk about. So did you check out Trump's interview with Maria Bartiromo?
Just the clip that you sent. Was it you that sent me the clip last night? I think so, right?
Or I put it in a TikTok. He said so many crazy things in this interview.
Oh, I think we watched some clips last night during the live. That's what it was.
Okay, then yeah, we don't need. It's more of the same. It's more of the same stuff. It's complete gaslighting. But I think the difference was this is the first time because Trump's Maria Bartiromo is like the friendliest interviewer for MAGA, pretty much that you can get on Fox. And you saw it. Like I was talking about how like fiercely defensive some of the Fox hosts have gotten of Trump. Well, So Trump starts saying, like, if you watched the TikTok I made yesterday, because I was just like outraged, Trump starts saying, like, Xi's a great guy. He's my friend. All this crazy, like, I want China to do well. It's my goal. Like, we can do well. They can do well, whatever. Saying all this crazy stuff. And she starts, like, being like, no, like, don't. And she's like, oh, no, Mr. President, I don't think that's true. I think that Xi doesn't want you to be president. You know what I mean? She just keeps trying to head him off and he just keeps going. And then I was just using the example of the bank, one of China's banks that's state owned. Like, there's a great Forbes article that came out when Trump was president and highlighted how Trump set up a way for the Chinese government to pay him while he was in the White House. And so I was just like, yeah, well, this is exactly why he's saying that Xi is his friend.
It's interesting to see the pushback that the different way that he handles this type of criticism. Like if he's on CNN and he's criticized, he's very aggressive. But this criticism, he's smart enough to know that like most of the people that vote for him think that he believes what they believe about China and that what he's saying publicly is just like a facade. He understands that. So when Maria brings this up, he recognizes that she's speaking as his base. He's smart enough to recognize that. So it's interesting how he handles this. He won't push back hard. He'll say like, "Oh, it's just my opinion," but everybody has their opinion. It's really it really just goes to show like how much of his entire campaign, his entire existence is just an act.
No, it really is, and that's the point.
Because he wants to be Xi. He would love to be Xi.
Oh, like and he's saying it. Like I've always said it. He's an authoritarian apologist. It's Freudian. We become apologists for who our father was. His father was an authoritarian. Trump has made a career out of apologizing for authoritarians, for Putin, for Kim Jong-un, for Xi. And he says, you hear him say all the time at Trump rallies, you know what he's always, look how he controls 1.4, however many people are in China. Look, he controls them with an iron fist. Isn't that impressive? I mean, that is literally what he says about Xi, is look at him controlling billions of people with an iron fist.
Yeah. And it's not to say that he can accomplish that, because he probably can't, but like that's why he likes MAGA. Like, he doesn't even need an iron fist with MAGA. He controls them with a keyboard, with his cell phone. He controls the rhetoric, the responses, the outrage, the happiness. Like, he controls millions of people from Truth Social just by tweeting things, or truthing things, I guess we call it. Your friend Eric is here, by the way.
Oh, hi, Eric. It's interesting because then he said, like, so he says all this stuff about liking Xi and how they were great friends, and China can do well and we could do well and blah, blah, blah. And then the next minute he says that, and this is really what made me make that video yesterday, is he said that Biden's a Manchurian candidate for taking money from China. A claim again that nobody has been able to actually prove. Meanwhile, you can directly, like I just gave a couple examples, but you could directly link how China could funnel money to Trump, a holding he did not divest during his presidency. And again, had the opportunity to again during in the middle of his presidency and still didn't divest it. Like, and that's fine. Like, we don't even need, we have the evidence against him. That's why, and this is what I'm thinking of, why he has to, this presidential immunity thing has to go through. Because we could line up investigations against him if it doesn't.
Chinese government controlled entities, and remember, like, there are certain entities in China that the government controls.
Yeah, the banks. We're talking about state banks.
And just during the Trump's years, spent $5.5 million at 3 of Trump's buildings. $5.5 million. They keep telling us about how he donated his salary, though. Like, this is, and whether or not any of this means that China owns Donald Trump, like, you could make that argument. Like, do they own him? I don't think so. I think Donald Trump will, but I do think Donald Trump would be willing to give them favors. But at least this is evidence of Donald Trump, a president, getting money from China. And this directly links to him.
While he was president in the White House.
There is not one single cent that has been directly linked to Joe Biden. And this goes to show, again, maybe Eric has an answer for us as to why we can link money from China to Trump, but not
I'm sure
Joe
he has
Biden.
a YouTube video.
Eric, why can we link money to Donald Trump from Chinese government-controlled entities, but not Joe Biden?
What do you have them linked?
This was the report that came out last week that showed Donald Trump's his financial reports that showed $5.5 million at 3 of his Trump's buildings given by Chinese government-controlled entities. The report is called White House for Sale: How Princes, Prime Ministers, and Premiers Paid Off President Trump. This came out January 4th. It's at oversight.democrats.house.gov.
That's very interesting.
Thank you.
I think it's just so funny that so many people can come out and snitch on Joe, but anybody that snitches on Trump, you guys believe. But anybody
Eric, hold on. I asked a very specific question. I asked why we can link money directly to Donald Trump through entities that he did not divest from. Remember, he did promise to divest when he was president, and he didn't. We now have actual proof that companies owned by the Chinese government gave him $5.5 million. All we have against Joe Biden is accusations. So why aren't you upset about this, but you're upset about the accusations?
You didn't hear about the banks that told on Joe too? They're all...
Are you talking about the SARS reports?
No, I'm talking about in court, in whatever hearings they had all the banks, because the banks are the one that notified them.
Yeah, those are called SARS reports, suspicious activity reports.
Okay, so you know about the...
They didn't test, but those
were... So the banks are the one that told them about the suspicious activities, that they had all these shell corporations and all this money funneling from all over, but you're denying that happened?
Eric, no, none of those are tied to Joe Biden.
They're tied to Joe Biden and his family.
No, they're not. Tied to just his family. Just his family.
Okay.
Yeah. See how you have to make that link? But this is 5.5 million. This is hold on. Eric, please don't do Eric, please don't do this thing where you shout over me. Please, can we just have a normal fucking conversation? Can we do that today? Thank you.
Sure.
So none of these links tie directly to Joe Biden. Yes,
You're
they
right.
tie to. Hold on. Yes, they tie to his family. But this 5.5 million ties directly to Donald Trump. Directly.
You're almost like an obsessive girlfriend.
You're almost like somebody who doesn't answer fucking questions.
No, you're right. You're right about it all, bro. You're right about everything.
I'm asking you a question. Wait, hold on. I'm asking you a personal question.
Crisis.
Calm down,
You're right
Eric.
about
Eric, there he goes. Eric, the question I asked you was, why don't you care about this?
I do care. It's horrible.
Okay, so what are you going to do about it?
Not shit. What are you going to do about it? Tell everybody.
I'm going to keep talking about it.
Hell yeah. Then I'm going to keep talking about everything I'm talking about. You keep talking about everything you're talking about.
Why are you not? I'm talking about both. I just explained the SARS reports. You apparently, through all 2 terabytes of data, didn't know what a SARS report was. So I explained that I understood that. Obviously, I've looked at the SARS reports. I've listened to the reporting on it. I've listened to House Republicans. I've seen their presentation. And I recognize in that presentation that it appears that Joe Biden's son was getting money from China. And I acknowledge that. He was getting money from China, and it's likely that he was selling his influence in order to get that money. I agree with most of those sentiments. So I agree that Joe Biden's son appears to have done some shady things. But I also recognize that none of that money seems to have gotten back to Joe Biden. However, when I look at President Trump, all of the money seemed to have gotten back to him. He didn't run it through his kids. He didn't run it through a separate company. There's no link that we have to make here. It went directly to an entity that he owned.
So can I ask you a quick question? Why would China pay him for putting tariffs on China?
Well, they didn't pay him for putting tariffs on China.
They paid him for... No, but listen, this is what you're misunderstanding. It's just a way to pay Trump. It's for, like, the way...
I'm just curious, why would they even want to pay him?
The way that they can pay him money, like in an entity that he owns, was in Trump Tower. A Chinese-owned state bank rented floors in Trump Tower. And that's how they're able to pay him through an entity. That's what we're talking about. And
Eric, I think that's
and we're just talking about during the presidency.
Eric, that's a fair question you're asking. You're asking the question, why would they? Don't stop there. If we know that he got money from these Chinese companies, why are you not just saying, like, let's investigate it? Let's open an investigation into this. You're completely fine with investigating Joe Biden, and by the way, so am I. I'm okay with these investigations into Hunter Biden. I think we should get to the bottom of what these payments were for. I agree with you.
You think we should get down to the
It's
bottom
hard
of
for me
the
to take
laptop?
you It's hard for me to take you seriously when you're not willing to also investigate Donald Trump for the exact same thing.
If you want to look up this article, that it's good detailed reporting. It's called Forbes Estimates China Paid Trump at least $5.4 million since he took office via mysterious Trump Tower lease. And it explains all. It explains how he had a chance, like even when their lease was up for them, they were going to take a lease in another non-Trump owned building, and suspiciously they stayed.
Maybe they got a deal. Maybe he cut a
yes, maybe they did get a deal. I definitely agree with you.
You don't
Eric.
know how shit works. Okay, you stay here
Eric. In this article, it's explained how this violates the Constitution. If you're clear on how any of this violates the Constitution,
if you have a hotel in another place and these people just spent a certain amount of money to stay at your hotel and they were going to go somewhere else.
The hotel's another argument. That's a whole other argument of how Trump made money. Hey, we're not talking about the hotels. We're not. That's another way in which foreign countries paid Trump. We're not talking about those.
That's how they were so sneaky. They just rented his hotel.
Why don't you want an investigation into this?
Because they want investigations into everything in the Trump.
No, but why don't you want an investigation into this?
Because I think it's bullshit.
Well, clearly he got money from them, right? Like, that's clear.
Clearly he had a hotel there, right?
Well, it's okay, yeah.
A hotel, you're not listening to me. It's Trump Tower. The bank was running their business. The Chinese-owned state
So
bank
he doesn't have Trump Towers in China?
No, this is not in China. It's in New York City.
Okay, well, whatever the case.
The Chinese state bank, a branch of that bank is their home was in Trump Tower during the presidency.
Okay, I got you. So it was in New York, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so if you own a hotel and they spent this amount
It's not a hotel. You're not listening to me.
You just said Trump Tower.
Listen to me. No, that's not a hotel. That's a business. It's a building where businesses rent space.
Okay,
it's a Chinese bank. A Chinese, and I'm not saying a bank in China. I'm saying Chinese state-owned bank, a government-owned bank.
So he wasn't supposed to do business with them?
No, not while he's president.
So yeah, it's Article 8. I was trying to find it. It's Article 8, Section Article 1, Section 8. I think. No, why are you saying "ooh, geez"? Now I'm quoting the Constitution, and that upsets you.
No, brother.
How are you saying "oh geez" before I even finished? Like you're choosing before I even say anything.
No, I wasn't saying it to you, bro.
Okay,
I was sort of saying it to Philippe.
Explain. Okay, well,
the emoluments clause.
The president is required to submit that information, to provide information, and to divest of their interests, which he promised to do. And then he spent his entire time in office refusing to give the documents that showed he had divested his interests. Now they have that information, and we now know why he was refusing to give those documents. He broke the law here. Certainly he broke the emoluments clause, certainly here. But more importantly, why do you think we shouldn't investigate it? What does that say about you?
No, I never said we shouldn't investigate it.
You just did. I said, why don't you support an investigation? You said, because it's bullshit.
I never said that I didn't support it. What you said, RTP, you said, why don't you want to investigate it?
Yeah. And
I said, because I thought it was bullshit, but there's other people that are going to investigate it. Doesn't mean I have to.
Why don't you? I'm asking you. I'm not asking other people. Why don't you want to investigate
I just told you, bro. Just because you don't like my answer doesn't mean.
Well, why do you think
doesn't mean
bullshit?
You can keep drilling me on
why
it.
do you think it's bullshit then?
Because that's my opinion.
I know, but why is that your opinion?
Because they've done a lot of stuff to Trump that's bullshit. You heard the January 6th one got took off the docket for a little while too, right?
That's not because it's bullshit, though. That's because Eric, I'm going to teach you something. It's
just
because Eric, it's because the presidential immunity claim has to be adjudicated before. Because Eric, if Trump has presidential immunity, there's no January 6th case anymore. That handles the whole case.
His whole speech, because he said Joe Biden, and Obama, and every president
that's why it was postponed, because the presidential immunity claim has to be adjudicated first, because if he has presidential immunity, there is no trial.
Eric, Eric, stop. Hold on 1 second. Let me just explain this, because you talked over Felice a little bit and you're missing the point.
No, you're missing.
No. Stop.
You're just saying.
Hold on.
Say Trump's whole speech.
We're not talking.
Say his whole speech,
Eric. We're not talking about his goddamn motherfucking speech. That's why I keep telling you to hold the fuck on. There is a case currently. His lawyers brought a case, and they are hearing whether or not the president has immunity. And so they have to postpone the January 6th case, because if they rule that the president has immunity, the January 6th case goes away. They can't decide on the January 6th case. They can't even run the January 6th case until this case is adjudicated. So this isn't about us assuming what he did or did not say. This is his attorneys bringing a case saying that our guy, Donald Trump, has immunity, and we would like to argue, please, that he has immunity and cannot be charged with these crimes. And so the court is hearing those arguments. This is his attorneys making the argument that he has immunity, and we have to hear this case before we can move on
to
the January 6th. Before we respond, do you understand that?
Yeah, I understand everything.
Okay, then why did you say that?
Why didn't he even take immunity when he first got given it? He could have taken.
Wait, no, he doesn't have immunity. They're deciding if he does. That's what this case is. He says he has immunity. So far, nobody has let him use that as a defense. His attorneys now have brought this case saying he has presidential immunity, and it's up to the courts to rule if he does. It's not that he was taking immunity; it's whether or not he can take immunity.
you're giving that as being the president. Any president is given that, because if stuff goes wrong in wars and everything, they'd all be held accountable.
Okay, Eric, but this is something that the Supreme Court is going to decide if Trump's presidential immunity argument is valid. That's what we're trying to say.
I understand what you're saying, and you act like
but
he said that.
We're not giving an opinion whether or not it is.
Respond?
We're not giving an opinion.
Respond? Okay, you keep saying over and over and over that Trump quoted that he should get immunity when he started out with every president before him.
No, Eric, this is not about if the president has immunity. The president does have immunity. It's about the extent of what immunity means. Exactly what you said. If the presidents didn't have immunity, we could virtually try. Hold on. If the presidents didn't have immunity, we essentially could try every president for war crimes. The presidents do have certain immunity, but they're testing the limits of what that immunity is. And Donald Trump's attorneys are trying to argue that there is no limit to immunity. That's what this case is about. Is there a limit to immunity? And I would just ask you just your opinion on this. Do you think presidents should have complete immunity? They can break any law?
No.
Okay, well then you should be excited that this case is coming, because this case is going to determine what the limits of presidential immunity are.
Good.
Yeah, I agree with you. We're on the same page. I don't know what we're arguing about.
You're telling me, bro, because there's plenty of things that we agreed about. Just like when you were telling me that because
Wait, but let's stay on this. Can we stay on this and not move subjects?
No, it was just what you were just saying. You don't even let me say 3 words, bro, before you cut me off and you think I know what I'm going to say.
Asked if we could make sure we stayed on this subject because you bounced and you said you're staying on this subject. So proceed.
See, but it almost makes me forget what you were saying, because it's like we argue about what I'm going to say when I'm saying it. And then, I mean, it's like you were just saying war crimes. All presidents can be charged with war crimes. And I know that. So there's a lot of things that I know, and there's a lot of things that you know. You've taught me things. I obviously haven't taught you shit. So, except I got 2 terabytes. But see, the thing is closed minds can't get taught shit.
Eric, I have changed.
I have an open mind.
Eric, I have publicly.
I get educated about things that I'm not educated on. But what I'm educated on, you can't.
Oh my God, Eric, this is not monologue time. Okay, I have changed my mind on many things since I've been on this app. I was a Republican not that long ago. I do not consider you somebody with an open mind. You are open, it appears, to conspiracy. You're very open to that. But when we have something like this that is so cut and dry, you think Joe Biden's guilty despite $0 being tied back to him, and you don't want Donald Trump investigated even though there's 5.5 million directly tied back to him. I'm just trying to ask you. I never said I didn't want to investigate. I'm just trying to. No, you did. You did say that. I said why don't you want him investigated?
I said
and you
I
said
didn't
because
want
it's bullshit.
I said I didn't want to because it was bullshit, bro. See, there you go.
Do you think he should be investigated? Yes or no? Do you think he should be investigated on this? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, great. We agree now.
Okay, so the thing is I never once said he shouldn't be investigated. What you asked me was, why aren't you worried about? Why aren't you investigating it? And I remember what you said, bro. And the thing is you love to put words in people's mouth and then argue with them after and cut them off.
Just talk about what we're talking about, please. I don't need a breakdown of what you think I do. Just talk about the issue, please.
It's very hard to talk about the issue with you.
Yeah, because you keep worrying about what I said and trying to.
Well, let me say
why
something.
I said something.
Let me say something really quick.
Please.
No, I just want to say that, like,
please, just let me finish, please. I'm just saying, Eric, if we're going to have a conversation, let's talk about the facts. Don't assume what I mean. I don't need a breakdown of what you think I'm saying or why I say it. Just respond to the facts and we can have a real conversation here.
Well, then stop cutting me off
when we
when I
agree
try to
on the
respond.
facts, Eric, we've already agreed on 2 things. That the president shouldn't have total immunity, which, by the way, you and I now both are on the same team. We disagree with Donald Trump. And 2, that former President Trump should be investigated
RTP, we're not on the
taking
same...
money from China. We're on the same side there.
We agree
Go ahead,
with
Felice.
something, but
now
we're
it's
not
Felice's.
on the same
Now it's
team.
Felice's turn.
We agree with something, but we're not on the same team.
I understand.
It's okay. No, we're good. It sounds like we're all on the same page.
That's all we're saying, dude. Like, I just want that same energy to be brought. Like, if you really do care about people coming together, when stuff happens to politicians that we like, we have to be willing to say, like, let the law be followed. I've never once advocated that nobody investigate Joe Biden. I've never advocated that they don't investigate Hunter Biden. I have no problem with investigations. I want transparency, and I want people in Washington to be afraid. I think people in Washington should be afraid that if they skirt the law, they'll be investigated.
There we go. We are on the same page as that. So did you watch the documentary about the Clintons? Did you get a chance to?
Yeah, I did.
And what did you think about that?
I mean, I think a lot of it lacks evidence for a case. I think some of it has been adjudicated already.
So you think that was all bullshit?
Well, I said I think it lacks evidence for a case. Like, I understand that, like, sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire, but sometimes smoke isn't enough, right? Like, looking at something and recognizing that it's strange in order to open a case.
That shit wasn't strange, bro. That was
whatever word you want to choose. I don't care.
I was like watching a
Eric, hold on. In order to open a case against somebody, you have to have like good evidence. You have to have evidence that supports a case that can get a conviction. So in most of these, most of this evidence, these are literally just people saying, like, here's what I saw. But they don't have any evidence to back that up. And I don't know if those people are being truthful. I don't know if they even really did work with the Clintons. Because I tried to fact check some of it, and some of these people I can find no record of.
So that documentary went to everybody in the committee. You saw that part, right, where they said that? And people were made up, slanders were made up about them. They lost their reputation, all these things, but they kept going. The one dude even sued Bill Clinton, okay? And shit went bad and went bad and went bad. That's how powerful they were.
Yeah.
Okay, you didn't see how powerful that family was in that Arkansas when he was.
No, they're certainly powerful. I've never said they're not powerful. I'm saying, like,
okay,
I don't care if you want to open investigations into the Clintons.
Real quick,
if you want to open investigations into the Clintons, I'm fine. You just need evidence to do it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, can I just get 3 minutes to connect some dots?
No, you do not get 3 uninterrupted minutes. No.
2?
No, none. No. At any point, if you say something and I want clarification, I will stop you and ask a question.
Yeah, but I don't get to do that to you.
But yeah, this is my live.
Wow. That's I call that alpha male.
Listen, dude.
I call that alpha male right there. You know that.
I don't allow
That's an alpha male.
I don't allow people to just come on and
I thought you didn't like alpha male.
Be quiet. Be quiet. I don't allow people to come on and be quiet, please. I don't allow people to just come on and, like, spew a narrative. At any point, if I disagree with a point in that narrative, I'm not going to let you continue until we agree that that point is valid. I don't like because I don't want people to be propagandized by a story and a narrative that you bring up without evidence. So you can talk, but I'm going to stop you if I need evidence.
Okay. So Bill Clinton was the president. And then who was the president after?
Bush, before and after.
Okay. They're all friends, right?
They weren't at the time, but they are now.
Okay, and then who became president after Bush?
Obama.
Okay, and they were friends too. They all root for each other and shit, right?
Again, afterwards, I think that there's a certain, like, if you've been the president of the United States and you've been the first lady of the United States, there's very few people in this world that you could be around that would understand what that's like. And I don't think it's unusual that former presidents find solace in speaking to each other. None of us could understand that experience. I think that there's, like, historically, everybody has been friendly with each other until Donald Trump. He's like the first one who refused to be friendly.
The first one that couldn't be bought.
Okay, well, you got 5.5 million from China, so I don't know what to tell you there.
Well, he wasn't getting bought by the people that are.
And he's still saying Jesus friend.
Obama's and Joe Biden.
Where was how much money did Obama get?
Who's buying all that?
How much did Obama get? Well, he was in president from China.
How do you? The True Social Corporation is funneled. Russian money is funneled through subsidiaries. That's literally how it is funded. Like, Trump absolutely can be bought, Eric. You just don't like that. That's the fact. Like, Bannon is funded by a Chinese dissident, someone who's against the Chinese government. That's why you always hear Bannon and the anti-China rhetoric. But listen, Eric, let me just say one. Eric, let me finish speaking. Eric, just let me finish speaking. Have you ever wondered? Let me make my point. Have you ever wondered why Steve Bannon is so anti-China? And then you hear Donald Trump saying that he likes President Xi and Xi's a nice person? It's because, one, Bannon, all of his stuff, his show, Getter, all of the stuff Bannon owns is funded by a Chinese dissident, someone who is at odds with Xi and fled and can't go back to China. That's why. But very much Trump says, whenever you hear him talk, that he likes Xi, that they're friends and they're friendly. And one reason why, right, is this Forbes article. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's right. So in my opinion, and I'm allowed to have my opinion just like you guys are, in my opinion, that Bill Clinton, after Obama, wanted his wife to be president, right? And then they wanted Trump to run, I think, because he did The Apprentice, and they thought he was going to be an easy win. He's laughable. Everybody talks shit about him. He's weak.
You're saying the Clintons wanted him to run?
In my opinion.
Okay, and do you think are you saying that they had enough power that they got him to be the nominee? Or are you not making that leap?
No, not making that lead. I think he took the jump himself, but I think they would have really wanted him to do that because they thought it was going to be an easy win, and because they were saying they were going to win all the way down into the last minute, and then they lost. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've never once seen a political campaign that didn't say that. Wait, hold on. Real quick.
RTP, I had 10 more seconds to what I was saying.
Just
10 more seconds.
Calm down, Eric. When I say stop, just stop. Don't argue with me.
See, you cut out my last
Eric, god damn it, dude. Dude, just I already told you. I
thought you weren't alpha male.
I already told you I was going to stop you when I had questions. I would like to point out that there has never been a political campaign in the history of this country that didn't claim they were going to win until they lost. Everybody does that.
Okay,
Vivek was polling at 1% and was up on the stage every day saying he was going to win. So let's just that's all I was saying. Keep going.
Okay, so he ended up winning, right? And then they went apeshit or nuts. They went nuts for 4 years that they lost power over the 50 states because they've had it for how long? All their friends that they became friends or weren't friends with or whatever, they're all chummy now. They had power over it.
Wait, Hillary lost to Obama.
How many presidents through?
Wait, Hillary also lost to Obama. Hillary lost a lot. She lost to Obama, and then she was probably going to lose to Bernie. There was a chance, and they had to rig that election, and then she lost to Trump. Wait, if they had so much power, why did it take... Wait, if they had so much power, why did Hillary keep losing? Election?
Did you say they rigged it?
Yeah, they rigged the primaries.
Really?
With superdelegates. Do you not
Why
know about that?
Why would they do that?
Well, they wanted certain people to have more power than others, so they created superdelegates in the Democrat primaries, which they're allowed to do. You can
Democratic
run your
primaries.
Yeah, Democratic. Thank you.
You wouldn't think that's
no, you're allowed to do it.
You may be allowed to, but do you think it's a little shady?
Everybody thinks it's shady.
No, yeah, that was shady.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders was shafted.
Okay, so nobody else.
We were all upset about that.
Nobody else shafted but Bernie, right?
Wait, no, you understand.
Wait,
this is the Democratic primary. They have control over that. They don't have control over the general election.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying, in general, you think the only person that could be shafted is Bernie?
No. I'm giving you an example of when I'm trying to show you that Hillary Clinton is not as powerful as you think she is. She got beat by Obama. She was going to get beat by Bernie, and she called in favors to the DNC, but on a national scale, it didn't help her, did it? She lost to Trump. The Clintons don't have as much power as you think they do.
So if you watched that documentary and saw the power they had then, you think they lost all the power?
Yes, the state that's what happens when you're not the president anymore, and she's no longer the secretary.
No, but I was talking about the power he had when he was the governor of Arkansas.
Yeah, it's much easier to control a state than it is to control the state of Arkansas than it is to control a general election. Can I make one point also? But Eric, I'm not disagreeing. Eric, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. I just want to make a point. And this is the reality that I think you're overlooking like a macro lens, like a wide lens of what happened. What happened was a black man was elected president of the United States. And then you saw the outrage from the Republicans, the rejection of, I can't believe a African American man is running this country. For 8 years, we saw the birther outrage. It couldn't be possible. They couldn't reckon it. And then we threw a woman at them and they said, I just suffered through 8 years of an African American being in charge. I'm not sitting through 8 years of a woman. Like it's simple. You don't need to make it like it's very simple what happened.
There was a lot of people that were happy that an African American was president, and if he would have did
I'm not saying nobody was. He was elected. Eric, you're not listening. Eric, you're not listening to me. By and large, people were very pleased. Obama was elected, re-elected resoundingly. That's not my point. My point is, after 8 years of an African American controlling this country, then they were faced with electing a woman, and they said, no, we're going backwards. A white male will be running this country again. That's what happened, Eric.
Or they didn't want crooked Hillary to be president.
Okay, so then that doesn't help your argument either.
Just say, I need to make this point because it needs to be very clear. Male politicians, Hillary is the least crooked of, if you compare Republican male politicians, that is par for the course, being of investing in stock, of insider trading. And you guys, when Trump evades taxes and insider trades, you say he's smart. When a woman does it, crooked Hillary.
Yeah, you're right.
It's misogyny and you don't recognize it.
Okay, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, I damn near lost my train of thought from the misogyny because I'm not misogynistic at all. I take my grandma everywhere.
Crooked Hillary is misogynistic when you don't hold Donald Trump responsible. That is misogynistic.
No,
she has never
opinion.
done anything approaching what that man has done. And you guys say he's smart. He's smart. But a woman is crooked.
So
that's the difference.
What are the three crooked businesses that are just like a regular business? They say mechanics, lawyers, and who else?
Are you using an anecdote to try and prove a point? I have no idea what this saying is.
I was just asking you a cool question. So shady businesses are mechanics because they love to take advantage of people. Lawyers can do the same thing, and somebody else can do the same thing. Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton both got married, and they were both lawyers. You know that, right?
Who cares?
So they're not crooked at all.
This is your point? This is what you're leaning on? The anecdotally... Wait, hold on. Eric, please let me speak now. You're saying that the argument is that there's this anecdotal phrase that people throw around about the three professions that people like to scam. Now, do you know any mechanics?
Yeah.
Are they all scammers?
Not all lawyers are.
Not all of them. Do you know any lawyers?
Yeah.
Are they all scammers?
No.
No. Do you know any politicians?
A few.
Are they all scammers?
A few. I wouldn't say all, just like every business.
Gotcha.
Just
So
like
do you
all
see?
mega supporters are
Okay,
racist.
yeah. So do you see
Just
how
like all mega supporters are in the cult. Thanks for proving my point.
Eric.
Thanks for proving my point, RT.
Eric, less talking. So Eric, this is just a
I love
thing.
it.
Like you're
Keep going.
using a phrase of speech to try and prove your point. That's silly. No, that's silly.
You just proved my point for me.
No, I didn't, Eric. I promise I didn't. That is so silly that's what you're trying to use.
RTP,
like you're saying that instead of police, hold on. Okay, I have to mute you. You can't keep talking over me. Felice just simply pointed out that if you're going to raise accusations and call Hillary Clinton crooked, you need to carry that same energy for Trump. She correctly pointed out that when Trump didn't pay taxes, when Trump had his charity shut down, when Trump didn't disclose businesses, when Trump took money from China, I'm explaining. You don't say anything. But when Hillary does, when you watch a documentary about Hillary, suddenly she's crooked. But you have yet to point to a crime that Hillary Clinton is accused of. What is the crime that you think she should be investigated for that she wasn't?
Did you switch the topic? You were on it.
What is the crime that Hillary Clinton should be investigated for?
You were just proving a point.
What is the crime?
Everybody not being corrupt.
What is the crime
See,
that
you
Hillary,
wanted to
what is the crime
for me?
What crime?
You don't want to prove the point.
What crime? Eric.
No crime. What about the? Let's get back to what we were talking about when you deflected.
I didn't deflect. I was recapping what had
You
just
deflected.
happened. Eric,
We were talking
why won't
about
you answer this question?
all mechanics.
Why won't you answer this question?
RTP, you're the one that
Why?
said
No, Eric,
I'm
you're going to answer
responding
this
to you, but
question
you don't
or
want
you're
me to
going to leave.
respond to it because
You
you
have two
know where I'm
choices.
going with
You
it,
have two
and
choices. You have two choices. You can answer this question and we'll continue with the conversation, or you can bounce. I don't care about the fucking the lawyers and the lawyers and the mechanic. I don't care. What crime do you suspect Hillary Clinton has committed?
Nothing.
Okay, well then let's move on to the next topic.
That's what you want to hear, you alpha. Do you bully your lady like that too?
You want to be my? You want to be my
say
lady?
something? We are not dating because just.
I'm not
this
saying
is
you. I didn't say you.
No, but in general, I just want to say
You're the
this.
one that
Like,
took that.
no, but
I
I
never
want to
said
say this
you.
in
I
general.
said
No,
you're a
this
lady.
is something
I never
I always
said
see in the
police.
comments. Eric, not everything is about you. Just let me address something I want to say.
No,
like,
you
I
took it
think it's
personal. You
annoying
took it like I
that. No, yes, Eric, because many people refer to me that way. Also in the comments, this is not just about you, Eric. Like, that's what I keep trying to tell you. I'm trying to say that this is another example of misogyny, and I just want to point it out that I am always attached to the man I am closest to or working with, right? And that's sad that as a woman, I can't just be an intelligent person who is worthy of working alongside another person. You know what I'm saying?
I never said that, but
No,
you guys love saying
again,
opposite
Eric, I just
things.
want to again repeat that
I never
this
said that.
this is not
I
just
think it's
about
cute
you.
you guys
Okay,
work together.
again, Eric, I'm not just talking about you. You never listen, Eric. You really don't listen to anyone else speaking.
I listened to. I can repeat what you said.
Can you repeat the part where she said, "Not everything is about you. This isn't about you." And then when she was done talking, you made it about you. You're like, "I didn't say that." She said like 4 times it wasn't about you.
Yeah,
she said that so many. So how is your answer? That's not what I said. She specifically wasn't talking about you. She was specifically pointing out that despite the fact that she's here every day as a co-host with me, despite that fact, people still look at her as an accessory to me and not that she is standing alone. Shut the fuck up.
Like when I did lives, listen, this is what I'm saying, Eric. When I did lives with Nemo, people would say that we were dating. I do lives with Jay. Now I'm dating Jay. I'm just pointing out that it's misogynistic, that I just can't be a person who's smart and people want to do lives with.
I wouldn't mind doing lives with you either. I never said anything about that, okay? You fucking keep saying I said shit I didn't
Not talking about
Okay,
you.
cool. Everybody else can say that. I'm glad you were
I
putting
was
out for
not
everybody
talking
else.
about you,
So,
Eric.
good shout out
I
to
can't. I don't
everybody that
know.
accused you
It's like
guys of
I'm
dating.
in a nightmare.
He needs to
that
center
will
it
not
back on
stop.
himself now.
No, I'm saying
Eric,
good
she
shout
wasn't
out
talking about you. Not everything is about you. Shut up and listen. She specifically said like 9 times it's not about you, and then you're like, I didn't say that. What do you think she meant by
well,
this
then what
isn't
the
about
fuck
you,
was she
Eric?
saying it for? Because I said it. She was commenting back to what I fucking said.
And
was what you were saying. It just reminded
you're
me of
lost in the
something
sauce.
that I
Anyway,
had
you
been
guys go have a
wanting
good
to
day.
say. Like I think about like I had recently. This just reminds me of something I had been wanting to say because you know sometimes when Jay and I like disagree on things up here, people are always like, "Oh, lovers quarrel," like things like that. It just has to do. It's not about you. It just sometimes you remember to say something in the moment, and I had been talking about misogynistic ideas about women, and I just wanted to carry the theme along. That's all.
I understand, but it was a good derail. All I asked was Jay if he treated his lady like that because you're very aggressive and you cut people off and you're a very big alpha male. I hope you know that.
Thank you. First of all, there's no such thing as an alpha male. That's a made-up term by morons. And secondly,
No,
what
Google
I'm
says
trying.
it.
What? Shush,
Just
shush,
like
shush,
Ebonics
shush,
is made up
shush,
term, right? Too.
Shush, shush.
Ebonics is made up too.
That was
right?
the middle. So now you're talking about Ebonics. Now who's changing the subject? Eric, I'm going to go back to the question. And if you refuse to answer this question, well, we just have to be done.
I've heard you talk about alpha
shut
males,
up,
so
dude.
you use a
What,
made-up
dude?
term?
Oh my God. Jen, can you take care of him? Jesus Christ. I'm asking you one question and one question only. And if you cannot answer this question, we just have to go separate ways. What crime did Hillary commit that you think she either hasn't been investigated for or needs to be investigated for?
I already said nothing at all.
Okay, great. So then why are you calling her Crooked Hillary?
Because that's what I want to call her.
I know, but why? I'm asking why.
I feel like it. I can't feel like it.
All right, we'll finish up. Do you want us to try and say the pledge real quick before we go?
I want you say it.
We already did earlier, actually. I was just wondering if this is your
Awesome.
third
You know, it
chance.
says united we stand and divided we fall. Indivisible, right?
It doesn't
liberty and
say. It
justice
does not
for all.
say united we stand, divided we fall. That's not in there. No. Can you say the pledge?
Is that how you're going to tease me? Because
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
I understand that you brought it up and said most people can't even say the pledge.
Yeah.
And you were
To the
challenged to say
republic
the
for
pledge.
which it
yeah,
stands.
and I didn't say it, and everybody laughed, and I'm glad that they laughed at. I'm glad they got a good
nation
laugh.
under
I was not
God.
embarrassed that I couldn't say it. It's not a big deal, but you know, in there.
Wait,
it's
but then
very
why did
good
you
meaning.
why did you bring it up as a point that most people can't, as a way, like you were mocking? You're like, most people
See, there
can't
you
even
go.
say the pledge.
Like I said, I laughed. We all had a conversation.
No, I'm
about
just
it. It was
wondering.
Not a big deal.
I'm just
I had
wondering,
been
Eric.
laughing over
Big
and over
feelings.
and over.
I know, fella. Big feelings. But why did you bring it up? And why did you just say it says united we stand, divided we fall? That's not in any of our
That's
documents.
the different pledge.
cool.
That was like a
Whatever.
9/11 thing.
Well, okay, you guys pause your
That's
fighting
all
so I
on
can
money.
explain
Go
coin
pull
cop
out a
because people
dollar
are
bill.
asking. Guys,
Go pull out a dollar bill, RTP. That was when.
guys, you can't. We're not accepting gifts because of CoinCot. If you want to donate to us, just donate to one of this Venmo or Cash App, and then we'll split it at the end. But in solidarity with BIPOC creators, we've turned off gifting. It's kind of like a little mini strike, and it was February 2nd, and it's through February 9th. We'll be doing this. So yeah.
All right, you can go now, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to roast me or tease me, you know, I don't care.
I was just wondering. That's it. All right, so Hillary
I
Clinton.
enjoyed the laugh that we all had in that live that we did, and it was a very mutual live.
Good.
And everybody was having a great time. And then they laughed when I couldn't even say it right, and that was funny too because I did forget it a little bit. I was stoned at the time, so
we all were. We all were.
You know, it is what it is. Like I said, I could have pulled it up right from the internet before I even recited it and said it perfect. Okay, but I chose not to. I chose to try, and I forgot, and shit happens. And,
Yeah, but you did just do it again. I don't know if you're,
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
high now.
And shit happens. But guess what?
What?
Next time I will know it for you guys. And then you won't be able to laugh anymore.
I'll still
But
laugh,
what's that going to prove?
No, I was just wondering if you wanted
It's
another
not proving
opportunity.
anything.
No,
Because all
well,
I'm saying
what happened? Eric, be quiet. All that
Eric,
happened
be
here
quiet.
is you
RTP,
called
that's
Hillary.
the last time you get to tell me be quiet because I got to go.
Be quiet. You
Peace.
called,
You guys have a
called
great
Hillary
day.
crooked Hillary, and then
Have a great
police
day with your
pointed out to
crooked
you.
Hillary. And
Okay, Eric. Have a
good
great day.
That was terrific. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I would challenge anybody. To
It's just you got to be able to follow the logic. You know what I mean? And like, he's too far in conspiracy land because he's reverse engineering conspiracies. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's using that, like, later in life, like Bill Clinton and George Bush ended up being friendly, you know, to whatever they were working on together, some sort of initiative or something. And because of that, then he's looking back into the past. Do you know what I'm saying? When they weren't friendly, and then like making assumptions about that. Yeah, it doesn't with the time. Unless there's a time machine and, you know, time travelers, none of that makes sense.
Well, that's what's been frustrating about MAGA is because Donald Trump is so divisive. Virtually everybody that works with him can't stand the guy. They've had to, exactly what you said, reverse engineer this idea. Like, former presidents reaching across the aisle and recognizing that, like, even though we have, like, we both did the same job, we have different opinions, but, like, we can coexist. And it's good for the country. It's good for the country to see leaders, like, respecting each other, even though they have different viewpoints. But the MAGA movement has made it so you're not allowed to respect anybody. Like, especially somebody that has said anything about Donald Trump. You can only respect the people who are sycophants to Donald Trump. So they've turned this beautiful thing that actually happened. Like, the Bushes and the Obamas, not friends before. Obama campaigned just trashing Bush. It was not a
and there was
friendly-
so much to trash.
Right, but yet here they are letting bygones be bygones and recognizing that they're not going to agree on everything, but that doesn't mean that you have to hate somebody. And the MAGA, you have to hate. It's like it's the core tenet. The core tenet of MAGA is hatred. What groups do we hate? We hate Democrats. We hate rhinos. We hate women who speak. We hate
Definitely
the
that.
LGBTQ community.
Definitely.
we hate immigrants that aren't white. Like it's just hate, and that's what sucks. I think that would be a shitty way to live life. I think it'd be a shitty way to wake up every day and just like be convinced that there's all these people in the country that their sole goal is to ruin our country. That's insane. I don't even think MAGA wants. I don't even think Donald Trump wants to destroy the country. I just think he wants power, and he's stupid. And he will, like, I think he will hurt the country. But I don't think that anybody, even the worst people, outside of Steve Bannon, he wants to ruin the country.
I just want to say, I don't know, like, I watch my dad be indoctrinated by, like, the alt-right, YouTube alt-right pipeline, though. And I just think there's no critical thinking. Like, if you just watch everything and you never think, oh, like, is this true? Like, and you're just on the Fox News, like, rotation of YouTube, you know, like my dad is literally watching like Hannity and Laura Ingraham clips like all day long, and it's scary. Like I'll like walk by and just be like, what is he up to over there? You know what I mean? Like since he's gotten like sicker or whatever, he's been like just kind of in a chair, you know, just watching this and like watching, like you can get very angry about the country if you don't question any of those clips and you just watch them 24 hours a day on repeat.
That stuff's addicting. Like when you feel like you're gonna miss something that is scary, like people get addicted to that. I can't tell you how many times I downloaded this app called Scanner. It's just the police scanner.
Oh yeah.
And I can't tell you the hours I've spent with the police scanner on. Anytime I hear about anything happening locally, I turn that on. It's because, like, if you feel like you're in danger and somebody convinces you you're in danger, you're hyper aware. But people don't realize what that does to your soul, to your mind. Like, you become somebody who's so obsessed with that fear that you miss the rest of the world. I think it's important for you and I. Like, we talk about this from time to time. Like, you got to get outside. You got to remember that, like, these conversations, the stuff we have with Eric, the debates that we have, like that's not real life. That is political debate, and it really does happen here. But like real life is beautiful. There are people out there that do not give a fuck about Donald Trump, that do not give a fuck about Joe Biden, that just want to like enjoy their life and have a good time. Those people exist. Like this idea that everybody's enemies is great for ratings, but it's terrible for the individual. It's terrible for the discourse, but it's terrible for the individual. I feel awful for those people. My dad's been sick. And my dad, I think he recognized somehow, I don't know how he recognized it, to be honest, but he recognized that watching the news made him sad, and he stopped watching it. He's still a right-winger, but he recognized that, like, for him it was more like, I know it's all real, but I don't want to be sad anymore.
Yeah, like, and that's a privilege. I had a white male therapist tell me, literally, pretty early on after I got to the hospital, oh, just don't engage in politics. Like that was his answer. Like, I'll fix all your problems, just don't watch the news and don't care about politics. And I just was like, yeah, but that's a pleasure. Like he had grown up in Virginia, because I was like, where'd you grow up? He's like, Virginia Beach. I'm like, yes, you can turn off the news and politics and then take a 6-month break and turn it back on and your rights won't be gone. But that's recently what happened to me. Like I woke up and Roe v. Wade had been repealed. And he's like, yeah, I never thought about that. But like, I do think it comes down to like, it's a luxury, right? To like, but that is a great argument for why we need to watch like right-leaning news and left-leaning news. Because also it's how I realize like, I don't like how MSNBC is covering Israel. Like what is going on MSNBC in Israel? It's like, talk about there's their blind spot. You know what I mean? Like it's glaring.
Quick shout outs before we shut it down.
Oh yeah, good.
Tiffany, Carl twice, Jackie, Zach, David, Toby. Thank you guys again for gifting. We don't expect those gifts, but it does mean a lot. Thank you for supporting those lives. And I would just like to add one thing before we go about these lives is that part of this is taking away the revenue from TikTok. The other part of it, though, is making sure that we're not in places that support the gift giving. Like, I'm not telling anybody what to do, but if we truly want to be all in on CoinCot, I would highly recommend not participating in gift giving in other lives, and also maybe taking the time to give your viewership to those who are participating in CoinCot. I understand that, like, those aren't always the most exciting. Maybe there's drama elsewhere, but where you can, I would just advocate for the rest of the day. try and find lives that are participating in this, and give them your attention and your energy. TikTok notices every single viewer. They notice gifts, they notice likes, they notice shares. If we want TikTok to actually take this seriously, it's important that we do our part and hold that line. And maybe that means we're entertained a little bit less this week.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, that's well said. I completely agree. And if we can move the needle even a little, it's for 1 week.
Right.
We could do it.
Right. Anyways, that's it, Felice. Wonderful outline that we got through a third of, as usual.
It's okay. Yeah, I think we got through the important stuff. Like, all anyone was thinking about today was the border.
Yeah, I look forward to your content, and I look forward to getting through the rest of this outline later today. Guys, we'll see you tomorrow morning and every morning, 8:30 a.m. to noon Pacific Standard Time. Follow us on YouTube. Our replays will be up. We replay this every day on YouTube, as well as content that we're putting up on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Please make sure, if you are subscribed to YouTube, just hit that notification button. It'll tell you when new videos come up, and share it with your friends. Thank you, guys. It means the world to us. Honestly, the gifts are ultra generous. We definitely appreciate them. Yeah. And we appreciate you guys engaging in a good cause for CoinCot. And go out there and fuck MAG up the rest of the day.
Eric, I'll be thinking about you while I nurse this migraine for the next few hours.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.